What's going on, everybody? Oh, okay. We got a lot of people in here this morning. Welcome. Greetings. Greetings. Trigger Mike is back on this good old Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. I'm glad to be back with y'all. Sorry for taking off yesterday. I had a bit of car trouble on my way to teach a class on Sunday. Had to take care of that. I got kids to pick up and run the school. Having reliable transportation is a part of my daily routine. So I didn't want to be sitting here doing a show when I should have been at the rental car place, depending on how long they were going to take to fix my car. So I just decided to take yesterday off. And you know what? It's always good to take a day off every now and then, get your stuff together, get your life together, sit down, chill, get some other, things in order. So that was a much needed day off. Didn't even know it. I'd have just kept working through it if I didn't have car trouble. It was oh boy, shout out to all the dudes who have been fixing their own car or doing stuff with their cars long enough to where you know everything that could be wrong with it. Every time you get a little shake or something, it was an ignition coil. And that wasn't even supposed to happen because when one coil goes bad, you're supposed to change them all. All right. So when you have an engine misfire, if you have a late model cars, the last 20 years, it'll be a spark plug and ignition coil. Either one or both of those. Usually both of those are bad, and you got to swap them out. So I went and pulled that code, took it to my little homie, the Mexican guy, right? I said, it's ignition coil number 3. Let me know where you can get to it. He went ahead, boom, bam, took care of that. Quick, fast, in a hurry. That feels good to be able to just diagnose your own car so you can buy your own parts and not get, your ass handed to you by the mechanics. Yep, John the Baptist, it is a tune-up. The tune-up is all coils and wires, though. I'm sorry, not wires, spark plugs, wires, and boots. And the tune-up costs serious money now because if you got a V8, that's 8 coils at $100 a piece, at least. I only changed one. That repair cost me $195. About the cheapest repair I've had in years. Last time to change all of them and the spark plugs, I paid $900, like 2 years ago. So only one of them went bad this time. So I only replaced that one because all the spark plugs are basically new. But yeah, shout out to all my dudes that have been collecting all of this knowledge over the years so you can help yourself and diagnose your own vehicle. Shout out to y'all. Men learn, trial and error, right? Oh, damn, prime time. You just reminded me. I was supposed to get a new air filter as well, but I can do that on the way to AutoZone. Air filter is nothing. Some of these foreign cars have them in weird places, though. The cabin air filter, I mean. You got to unscrew stuff and all that. Yeah, I ain't doing all that, but I'll let them do that at the Valvoline stop. But greetings to y'all, man. Let me stop talking about cars. I know I got ladies in here. Welcome. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Today on the Lapeef Network, the greatest network on YouTube. If you have not hit that like button, go right on the inside. Hit that like button. All right. And give us a like for the YouTube algorithm. We really appreciate that. Coach K says, my travel ball coach owns a Goodyear and we only go to him. I don't trust these dealerships. Don't go to the dealership unless your car is under warranty. Do not go. They will absolutely, they'll grape you on parts and labor. Something that's supposed to cost $200 will easily cost $600 with them. So shout out to Coach K for that bit of knowledge. Oh, yeah, I got a deal. That's why I said if you fix your own car and know how to and just go to AutoZone and get it diagnosed yourself, take it to your buddy. Take it to somebody to fix cars. Take them that diagnostic sheet. I got them to change the plenum gasket, the spark plug, and the ignition coil. $195. That easily would have been $400. $400 at least at a mechanic shop. All right, but yeah, man, we're back again. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the Lapeef Network. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. We are back on this good Tuesday. I'm glad to be back with y'all. It was an excellent weekend, man. That Paw Patrol party. Now that I'm done with it, I can tell y'all where we went. It's called Ninja. They got all this type of stuff that's out now that they didn't have when we were young. It's one of these ninja places where they set up all this stuff, have all these ropes going all over the place. My son had fun. We had a beautiful weekend. My son and I know, people are going to be like, you're lying. My son goes to a Spanish school, okay? I don't know what it is about black boys, but everybody loves black children in these places, okay? He's the coolest kid, everybody's friend. He's been there going on 3 years, almost 3 years. He's been going there even before the school curriculum part. He was just going there for daycare before he got into the preschool curriculum at the Spanish school, okay? They've loved this boy since he was young. I still, to this day, 3 years into it, meet a new parent that tells me my son is their best friend. How many best friends can this boy have? Okay? Damn. This boy had everybody. I said invite the class. The class and all their brothers and sisters showed up. That place was packed. It wasn't even that big. My son is a rock star out here. We had a good old time. All right. And look, you want to know the win? You want to know the win for the weekend? The biggest win for the weekend? They didn't charge me for all them people that, there's a limit. There was 15. About damn 27 kids showed up. Them boys, look, some of these youngsters, they be running y'all business wrong. Because I was going to pay. I went to the front. They were just waving me off like, nah, it's all right. You just got these little 16 and 17-year-olds running your business. Sir, they forgot to charge me like a whole $130. But I'm sorry. I tried. I tried to pay it. Don't look at me crazy. I tried to pay him. But yeah, excellent weekend. Listen, I gave away a bunch of this boy's toys. I gave away some of his toys about 2 months ago, did a closet clean out. Tired of stepping on these damn Legos and Buzz Lightyear action figures. They done brought all that stuff back into my damn house. This boy's so popular, and maybe it's the demographic group for this school. People were buying him $100 toys. Who does that? Because I got a $30 limit. And it really got to be your best friend for me to spend $30. What's your limit? If it's not a family member, what's your limit for birthday parties? I want to know. Because yes, you can love people, kids. Right? If it's not your niece, your nephew, like I got, a nephew, I got a 14-year-old niece, I got a, on my wife's side. And so, yeah, they want something that's $100, a pair of sneakers, no problem. But for little kids, what's y'all limit? They bought my son $100 Buzz Lightyear toy, Hot Wheels track going around. I was like, I don't buy him this stuff. I got a $30 limit. Because you can get some nice stuff. You can get some nice stuff under $30. Don't get me wrong. We got a big old Paw Patrol car. For Christmas, I bought him an expensive one. We bought him the Paw Patroller. That thing was expensive. Fits all the Paw Patrol cars in there. But these people were buying, like, you should have seen the boxes on these toys. Damn. Woo. Y'all got to look, man, this is why I promote family. Y'all got to get around some rich people. They'll spoil your kids for you. You don't even got to spoil your kids. Like it's nothing. Just giving them these big ass toys. The boy 4. He ain't graduate college. What the hell is this? Big ass box 4. All right. But yeah, man, we had a good old weekend. Shout out to everybody that spent time with their kids. All right. Thank you for doing that. We got a community rebuild here. All right. So I'm always glad to talk about those particular topics. Who we got in the chat today? So we can give a shout out to you. S. Chanel, what's going on? Miss Jill, Coach K, Daryl Brown, No Chaser, what's up? Lindora Lent, how you doing? Ogun, how you doing? Miss Jill's Chocolate Boutique, what's going on? My man Israel, what's up? No Chaser, I think I said what's up to you. Kenny, what's going on with you? My man Jordan Landry, always representing. What's going on? Demetrius Carter, what's up? My man King Spark. All right. So we're going to get the topic started so we can just talk about a few things that transpired over the weekend. I know a lot of things happened and some things we got to unpack. And not in addition, what y'all are going to start seeing me do, in addition to the topics that I picked, we got to start talking about some current events, man. There's a lot going on in our country, nationally, internationally, things that we need to flush out and a lot more opinions we need to have. I get y'all opinions on relationships and ratchet stuff all the time, but I want to know y'all opinion on a lot of these current events that are happening. Our world is changing rapidly, from the economic front to the societal front to the behavioral front. What goes on with our kids, our intersexual dynamics with men and women that aren't in relationships, our relationships at work, peer groups. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot of things to cover. So today's topic is why simps are dangerous. And we're going to save those topics, which is the topic that I picked, for last. let's talk about some current events first. So most of y'all heard about this Nashville shooter. I read a little bit on it. I read a little bit. It's always sad. Always sad. Can't make jokes about anything dealing with a loss of life. So, just want to send condolences to those people, because when it has something to do with the kids, ladies and gentlemen, we got to realize the kids are off limits. Kids are off limits. If I could line up, listen, I want them to bring back the firing squad, death by firing squad. And I want to, my least favorite, and I understand. I see you, his ghetto point of view. Peace to you. Peace to you. Reckless Ray De Niro. Peace to you. Economics, indeed. We need to talk about that. Now back to what I was saying. My least favorite people, right? And we all have crimes that we just feel are particularly heinous. For me, it's the grapists, right? Yeah, people that hurt children in any way. Those type of people. What other type of people? Yeah, murderers, just bring back death by firing squad and make me the captain of the firing squad. Bring all those people. Just line them up. Put them in the same jail. Put them in chains. Walk them out. In fact, no, I don't want to shoot them in the back. That's cowardly. Face them front. And I don't want to shoot them all at once. I want them to anticipate the shot. Just let me sit about 100, 200 yards away with my 50 cal and just give me ammo cans at each station as I move my rifle down the line. And I pick every single one of them off one by one. And I want them to anticipate the shot. I'm gonna make it hard for them. They're gonna see the one next to them get shot. I might not take another shot for 30 minutes. Have them pissing and shitting themselves, waiting on me to end them. That's what I want to do with those people. I don't know about y'all. Bring back the firing squad, because it's never funny, nor should it be tolerated when these people mess with children. Children are off limits. Off limits. This person, I found out, was a trans person. Now, I don't necessarily have a idea of what's going on with this, but what I can assume and what I'd like to actually relate to you is we are going to start seeing a lot more incidents. Unfortunately, things have to get worse before they get better. Things have to get worse before they get better. So all of this stuff that we have allowed in our society, all of the things we said weren't a big deal. We have to understand that some of these occurrences and some of these ways of life start from trauma. So you can't have people who experience trauma, who make serious life changes due to trauma, not put that trauma out into the world in a negative way. So we're going to start seeing more and more of different types of people from all of these different types of communities committing atrocious acts, fits of rage, and we won't even understand them all at first. We won't. We won't understand why they're doing it. We're going to start putting together patterns. Wasn't it young girls that this person went after? Do you think that was a coincidence? So we're going to start seeing the prevalence of this more. This person deleted 6 people, including 3 children. Bring back the firing squad on their ass and let me have the first 100. First 100. It could be today. I volunteer as tribute. It could be today. In fact, let me not do 50 cal. That's pretty gruesome. I have a 13.9 to my left here. I have a 13.9, a 12.5 AR, and a 16. One of them's for competition though. So we can make it fun. Any way you like. If you want me in standing, kneeling, prone, you determine how they get shot. I'll hit them with a 5.56 center mass. Right? It don't even have to be that gruesome. 50 cal gonna blow their bits all over other people. So it don't even got to be that bad. But that Nashville shooter situation is something terrible, y'all. It's something terrible. Who said I don't got an XC? Mr. Charles, who said I don't have an XC? So let me tell you about the XC I do have. We're not going to talk that stuff. Let me stop. We're going to do that on another day. Somebody said 6'5" Creedmoor. Indeed, 1 mile out. just for target practice. You know what? The scope that I want for my 6.5. Damn, what is it called? I have a Daniel Defense DDM DD something. It's in the closet. Obviously, I have a lot of guns, but this brings us to our next topic, which is the call to ban assault weapons. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no such thing as an assault weapon. It is a liberal trick. It is here to trick you. It is a liberal trick. All right, there's no such thing as an assault weapon. If I went up, my wife is actually downstairs today. She's never home, so she's home today. If I decide to pick this pen up, click it so it's open, and I go downstairs and pluck my wife in the head 5 times, and she calls the cops and says, he's assaulting me with a pen. This pen is now an assault weapon. Do you understand what that means? There's no such thing as an assault weapon. An assault weapon is a weapon you get assaulted with. Stop letting them indoctrinate you and mess with your mind. So let me know what y'all think in the chat. As far as these issues that we have with guns today, we'd appreciate a super chat, so I'll read it aloud. Let me know in the chat, what do you think if they were going to make moves? I don't even want to say laws. What kind of law would you make? What kind of law would you make for responsible gun ownership or lack thereof? I want to know what my audience thinks, and I'll read that aloud. Because for those of you that don't know, guns are my business. Okay, so I like to call myself a firearms entrepreneur. I am federally licensed to deal firearms, to sell them and transfer them. So you're not going to hear me say anything like ban all guns or nothing stupid like that. I am a pro 2A, Second Amendment, conservative black man. If you ain't never seen one of those, here's one. Pro 2A, conservative black man. The more of those we get, by the way, in the black community, that's when we're going to start getting our families back. If you want protection in this world, be like Trigger Mike. I'm the most respected person on my block, on God. These people get their guns transferred to me, so they know what's going on in here. Okay? I'm the most respected person on my block. If you want more, I don't know if he's conservative, but if you want to know more 2A black men, pro 2A black men, Coleon Noir is a good one. We got a lot of, I don't want to call them conservative. I don't know their political affiliation or anything like that. Damn, we got Jamal Shoots. We got my man over in Houston. Let me get on my Instagram real quick. There's a lot of people y'all can follow right now. These dudes are dope. One of my dudes just put up a crazy meme, talk about some he do eat ass more type thing he did with the milk. I was like, dude, you tripping. I'm drawing a blank right now, but let me go to my gun page. The sneaker guy, y'all know who I'm talking about? Anyway, yeah, Tyler Jamal Shoots, Texas Totem. What's the dude and his wife's name? You got Black Arms 223. Yeah, now Coleon Noir, as I've mentioned, Defense Management 1. These are all my guys. All my guys. So a lot of them in the Houston area. Some of them are in Tennessee. Dauntless Tactical over in Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, you got a lot of dudes. A lot of dudes. What's his name? What the Kicks. That's my man name over in Houston. He one of the bigger guys on Instagram. What the Kicks is dope. What the Kicks is really dope. Check him out. Jay the Shooter. That's right. Jay the Shooter. You got a lot of dudes out here. Pro 2A. Let me know what y'all would do. MS Best says the states with the strictest gun laws have the highest crime rates. Something doesn't seem to work here. 100% agree. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this thing about guns. You have to stop having knee-jerk reactions to gun laws. One of the reasons one of the reasons I'm in this space, especially as it pertains to gun laws in general, is it's already too late to do anything about guns. There are 4 to 5 times as many guns in the United States of America as there are people. Do you understand that? 4 to 5 times, meaning billions of guns. There's 400 million people, so 4 to 5 times as many guns as there are people. I myself, I'm not going to tell you how many I own, but geez, 4 to 5 times as many guns as there are people. Okay? So I know men that buy a gun per paycheck. If you know that to be true, put a 1 in the chat. There's nothing you can do about legal gun ownership in this country. It's written into your Constitution. Don't you find it funny that right after they wrote the First Amendment that said people should have the right to say what they want, the very next thing they thought about was, oh shit, if you're going to say what you want, you better be able to defend yourself against what you say. Because people might come for you on some political stuff. Didn't they just finish fighting the Revolutionary War before they wrote the Declaration of Independence and all of that? And the amendments and all of that? The Constitution, rather, before they wrote the U.S. Constitution? Didn't they just finish the Revolutionary War? So in an effort to make citizens not have to suffer the tyranny of the government, they gave people the right to bear arms. That's all this is about. I'm not saying that you shouldn't find a way to ensure responsible gun ownership, but you should never infringe on the rights of free, law-abiding citizens to get that done. Be smarter about it. Your reaction can never be take people guns away. Do you not understand what you will start? The motto here in Texas, and I'm sure in other places, let me know if you've seen it, come and take it. When you tell these people you're going to take their guns, what the hell do you think they mean when they say come and take it? You think they're going to get them shits up? Yes or no? Do you think they show up at your front door? Do you think these people are going to give them up? Do you think come and take it means, oh, I'm literally just going to grab, here you go, Mr. ATF? No, thank you. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to start a whole war out here. You cannot take these people guns away. Stop talking about it. It's impossible. There are too many guns in this country. One of the greatest sayings I've ever seen. Okay, one of the greatest sayings. Come to my door asking without a warrant. Sir, we just wanted to know if you had that blank blank AR-15 and this blah, blah, blah. He going to be like, I lost all of them in a boating accident last month. And you can't do shit about it. I lost all of them in a boating accident last month. So sorry. You don't have a warrant, so you can't come check. These people not giving that stuff up to you. Stop talking about banning their guns. Infringement on guns is the next civil war. Ladies, I know you think because we have all these liberal legislators, I know you think that the answer to gun violence is take away guns. I know that's the knee-jerk reaction because you want people to be defenseless. You love cutting people's balls off. But have you ever thought that you might need those one day when somebody come busting your door down? And the only reason you don't live under a tyrannical government that can levy certain actions against you is because they know people, either you or your neighbors, are armed. Did y'all ever think about that? Did y'all ever think about that? Ms. Bliss, let's see what you got to say. Trigger Mike. That is a misinterpretation of the Second Amendment. They gave men in the time of war the right to bear arms. Nobody is trying to take guns away. It's just the type of gun. Do you know this is the same liberal rhetoric that everybody's talking about? You are basically saying that men own war guns. No, we don't. If you are talking about the AR-15, it is already illegal. And most people do not own fully automatic machine guns. They don't. They don't. It shoots one shot at a time. One shot at a time. Okay? That is the government telling you. That's the government telling you that. Okay? But moving on, so I can bring the panel up at some point, I want to get into my automatic. Y'all sleep on this gun debate. And by the way, on this gun debate, if you are somebody who is interested, if you're in the Houston area, because we're putting stuff together now, we're gonna go to, I said it last night on a show, we're gonna go to Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Charlotte, some other areas, maybe Raleigh, Durham. I remember Miss Jill asking me to do a gun class. I do an excellent, and if I say so myself, I got 5 stars on Google. I do an excellent basic gun course. Even if you think you know how to shoot, you need to take my basic gun course. I'm going to get you on target. If you ever seen my videos, you see how fast I shoot. You see why they call me Trigger Mike and how on target I am. And yes, Florida. We're going to go to Florida as well. I'm going to do the same thing for you. You need to come to my gun class. So I put a bunch of dates in for the summer for Houston. We're going to get some for, they say, Fort Lauderdale. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the chat at some point, but y'all going to sign up. Make sure y'all sign up for that class. I'm going to get y'all a discount code in the next few days as well. Maybe Illinois, Quincy, maybe Illinois. Y'all laws are currently being, they're being weird with y'all laws and stuff. But yeah, y'all need to take my gun class. So once I do the basic one and get a few rounds of those out of the way, I'm going to find some outdoor ranges so y'all can do the advanced course. And once we get outside, oh boy, I'm going to have y'all ringing steel out there, I promise. All right. So you ain't seen a gun instructor until you took my class. I promise you. I promise you. I will make you see visions. I will make you thinking you're John Wick or Joanna Wick out there. I promise. All right. But I'm going to let y'all know when it's coming up. I'm going to make a little flyer. We're going to post it up. But let me get to my main topic before I bring the panel up today. Why simps are dangerous. I completely forgot. I had a busy weekend. I completely forgot why I wrote this in my phone as a topic I wanted to discuss today. But let me tell you, it's still prevalent. If you believe simps are dangerous, put a 1 in the chat. It was something somebody did. It was something someone did where I said, this is so dangerous. The rhetoric this guy is spewing. And I think a lot of women need education on why simps are dangerous. Because simps seem to be a woman's favorite man. Simps seem to be a woman's favorite dude. All right. Damn. Simps seem to be a woman's favorite dude. And let me be clear on this. All right. Every dude, every man has a bit of simp in them. Every dude. I don't care. I've seen it. Whether it's for your mother, whether it's for your daughter, whether it's for your wife or your girl, every dude has a bit of simp in them. I get that. But the intensity level of simp is a sliding scale. It's a sliding scale. All right. The intensity level of simp is a sliding scale. And let me explain this in type of man I am. Okay. I would describe myself as a man's man. And the reason I say that is because I understand that men have to be advocates for other men. What the fuck are you siding with the women for? What are you siding with the women for? Y'all, men have to be advocates for other men. Stop siding with women on stuff. That's simp behavior. Let me tell you why you should basically never side with the woman and why that's simp behavior. You don't side with women. You help the man. That is what a man's man does. Don't side with the woman. Help the man. Help the man to help himself. Ladies, these men don't understand intersexual dynamics. And let me tell you why I believe simps are very dangerous for you. It's not even so black gold. It's not exactly. It is staying on code, but not exactly. So that's what we say for the women. Staying on code means there's a code manifested against something. What I'm talking about is more natural. It's supposed to be in a man's nature to be a man's man. And these simps are acting outside of their nature. Here's why. Let me make the point. Simps are very dangerous for women. And the reason why we got to get this message out there is because women don't know that they're being played by simps. They don't know it. Y'all don't know these niggas are playing you. Ladies, you want to understand why? If there was no sex in it, if there was no attention from women, if there was nothing in it for them, these niggas wouldn't exist. They would be out doing something else. If there was nothing in it for these men, if they didn't think they had a greater chance to sleep with you, a greater chance to be around you, a greater chance to steal you from another dude, to wait in the friend zone, if they didn't have any of this, they wouldn't be around you. They don't benefit. If they don't benefit, they wouldn't be saying shit. It's very dangerous for you to think men actually move that way by nature. It's weird. A man agreeing with you and everything you say, and by nature, men are not like that. And if it was nothing in it for them, no sex, nothing, they wouldn't be around you, simping. I'll have to say this, and I'm sorry for anybody in the chat. I don't want to offend you. But I got to say it. There are more liberal simps. There are more liberal simps than there are conservative simps. Okay? Simping has become like law on the liberal side and the progressive side. Because now you're helping progressive women. You're helping radical feminists in a war against men. And usually when you say a war against men, you're ultimately saying war against family. I've heard Mr. Rich say this. I've heard a few other men on the panel say this, but I got to say it 100% completely. Black men firstly, black men need to divest from the Democratic Party. Come on over to the dark side, fellas. Y'all belong over here. This is where y'all supposed to be. Come on over to the dark side. Y'all are giving power to the wrong people. I'm going to drop the link for those of y'all that want to come up. Men, this is to tell you that you have it hard in your fight against radical feminism. You have it hard, or we have it hard, rather. My man John the Baptist says 95% of simps are liberal. I agree, bro. I agree. There are some conservative ones, but they more moderate. They are more moderate because they're leaning over into their liberal agenda, trying to ingratiate themselves with women. Listen, what simps do best, they ingratiate themselves with women so women will be amenable to their sexual desires. I say that all the time. If there's nothing in it for them, they wouldn't be there. The more they massage your interests, the more they tell you right, the more they don't correct you, the more you'll be like, I like him. Damn, the panel full of shit. I ain't even gonna let me finish my monologue, but let me get this out. Ladies, I know y'all don't want to hear this, but Drake is a simp. Drake is a simp to the point where I can't listen to all his music anymore. His entire platform is built off pandering to women and their favorite destructive narratives about men. Drake is a simp. If you think Drake is a simp, put a 1 in the chat. Drake is a whole simp out here. Simps always give women a pass and enforce accountability on men. And the one thing I hate most is that they also create fake accountability against other men. They create fake accountability, even in a situation where there's supposed to be no accountability. They create fake accountability. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. For example, when I said that a woman needs to give her son to the father so the kid can grow up with proper discipline, somebody will say, well, no, we don't want to hurt the mama, even though it's best for the kid to be with the dad. Somebody's going to simp. All signs point to give the child to their father, but somebody's going to make an excuse of fake accountability on something the man should be doing extra to appease that woman. That's simp behavior. All right. For example, anyway, I already gave the example, but our greatest adversary in the fight for normalcy is not modern women. I'm convinced. After this weekend, our greatest adversary in the fight for normalcy is not modern women, and it never has been. The women can't hold us. If we are unified, the women can't hold us. As you can see, they can't even talk over us. It's the simps that enable, pander to, and relieve these women of accountability in any and all situations. They are the greatest adversaries in our fight to restore order to the world. All right, John the Baptist, let me get a thumbs up. Everybody in the back, let me get a thumbs up so I bring you up. All right, bet. What's going on, fellas?
What it do?
Salute to all the brothers in the panel. What's up, Mike? What's up, panel? How y'all doing?
How you guys doing?
It's good.
EB got off work early today, huh, EB?
Cold up in here.
Early.
Nah, I brought my work up here with me. I'm good.
Okay.
That's the gigolo jacket. We know what he just got done doing.
There's no stains on it or nothing.
Well, this week I have to admit this weekend was kind of busy for me, So yeah, it was pretty.
We don't want to know the details, bro.
Nah, it's good.
We're good on details.
We don't want to know who sat where on whose face.
Who sat where?
Oh Lord.
All right, John the Baptist. What you got? Opening thoughts, bro.
Oh man, you put out so much stuff that I don't even know where to start at. But I'm to the shooting. I'm with you. If you harm my kids, you deserve whatever coming your way. For that transgender person, identifying person to walk into a school and harm kids who are there learning while their parents entrusted them to the school system, the government, because you're confused about what you are and what you're going through. You have no right to come into a kid and come into a school and harm our kids. And I bid you a goodbye. However, the court system decides what to be done. Second part, and I'll start with this: the openings for the simps are dangerous. Yeah, they are. And the school system situation is the school shooting in Nashville is one of the reasons why simps are dangerous. And I say that the long way of getting here is because that individual was raised by a society that taught him. I'm not quite sure what he is literally, but I'm thinking it was born a he. Was raised by a system that didn't teach him conflict resolution. And whatever lessons he learned about dealing with conflict didn't come with a stable environment. And so, long story short, when men put interests of women first, you make terrible, bad decisions. When you learn to put your belief system first, your principles first, and your values first, and the things that you know that makes the world run better, when you put those things first, my value system starts with Christ, starts with God. I know everybody's not a Christian, but whatever your value system is, when you learn to live by your principles and your values, that teaches you how to rule the world. And you rule by principles that have been proven over time, and logic has been proven over time, not by feelings, which cause you to react in several different ways. And I'll land the plane there.
Bet. EBD, opening thoughts.
So, as far as mass shootings go, period, I mean, it's an obsession with guns in this country. We want to be real about it. And I don't believe the Second Amendment was meant for quote unquote home protection, but it was used to keep Africans in check, slaves in check. It's how Smith and Wesson got started. That's how they advertise. They've advertised how many bullets it takes to kill a black person. I mean, this country's history with firearms is its violent way of reconciling civil differences. It's always been used as a emotional thing, not really an intelligent thing. But also, I mean, to solve this issue for me, to stop school shootings, because they seem to be happening with a lot of younger people, I would have it to where you can only register and own a firearm at the age of 40. Reason I say 40 is because I think that every man at 40 is mature enough to probably handle a firearm. You know, if you can navigate the planet 40, for 40 years without having to use a firearm, I think you're mature enough to kind of wield that kind of a dangerous weapon at that point.
Right. So, question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the criminals will have their guns way before the age of 40? Do you think that's fair that criminals are armed in a country where the Constitution says we have the right to bear arms, but a law-abiding citizen has to wait until they're 40? Do you think that's fair?
No, I don't think that's fair. But of course, there's agencies. How many we have? Over I think 80 something law enforcement agencies, and one of them being the ATF to enforce these laws in every state.
They don't enforce law. Actually, I think I'm correct. They try to regulate. They try to establish regulations under the law, but they don't enforce law. Law enforcement actually does that.
Well, that's what I meant. We have I think over 86 different law enforcement agencies.
Well,
all of them can enter your home. All of them can take your life. All of them can arrest you.
So, if we're talking about law enforcement, the large majority of law enforcement is a reaction agency, right? They get there after the crime has been committed. So how does that help the average citizen?
Yo, are we looking for law enforcement to protect our families and our homes individually? That doesn't make any sense.
Let's go.
Isn't that what they're for?
Issa hopeful. Let me get a thumbs up.
Oh, we'll go ahead. We'll go around. We'll get back to Mr. Payne. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr.
Well, I didn't mean to stop this conversation. I mean, once we start getting into a free for all, we ain't coming back.
No, that's fine. Go ahead, because I want to know what everybody else thinks too. So
listen. I mean, here's my thing about the guns. I mean, we have to come to a realization with the freedoms that we have in our country. There's going to be horrors that go along with that. Unless you stop all the freedoms. I mean, we can get into horrible situations with speech, right? We only want to hear the speech that we want to hear, right? There's a constitutional issue over that. So guns is, I believe every person who goes through whatever process there is to have a gun should be able to get a gun. But just like with Mike's, monologue, when opening monologue, I think he was extreme on his end, just like the liberals are extreme on their end. So there's no real discourse that's going to make change. And I don't know how we're going to solve this issue, all right? Because I can legally get a gun today and I can go crazy tomorrow, right? And that's the whole thing. You cannot regulate a person with a gun. At the time of purchase, maybe, but after that person owns the gun, there's absolutely no way you could protect anybody unless we have guns everywhere, right? There's got to be guns in the school. There's got to be guns everywhere. I mean, we just started seeing instances of people who are in those carry states protecting other citizens by killing a perpetrator before the perpetrator does whatever they do. So essentially, the Mikes of the world want us to go back to Wild Wild West to protect, well, wait a minute. Let me be extreme. I didn't mean to say you, Mike, but let me just
from
put
New
it
York.
this
We
way.
won't hold it against you. You from a
Okay,
communist
so here's my
Wait,
thing.
hold on. He's not
Okay,
the only one from New
okay,
York.
Israel, we'll go back. I'm gonna land on this one. The truth of the matter is, I'm one of those kind of citizens who are not against guns, but I'm saying, what kind of real resolution that Congress or anybody could make, liberal or conservative, that could make any difference? It'd be nice if we even talk about some of that, because I'd like to see what the solutions are, because I don't see any on the horizons. And I just don't see any on the horizon. Let me just stop there and we'll get into conversation later on.
So,
all right, let's get King Spark in there.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all, today anyway? But as far as the school shooting and all that shit's concerned, I think that we're wasting time with some of these criminals. If we catch you on the scene of any type of mass shooting and you got firearms on you, and I got two people that can point out and say it's you, we should immediately put you on a plane to Colorado, all right, to the Grand Canyon, get to the highest peak they got out there, and walk into the edge and put a size 16 combat boot in your back. And if you live, you live. You don't, who gives a shit? And everybody just go away. Stop wasting time trying to take these people to court and all this shit. That's a waste of time. That's a waste of time. As far as the Simps is concerned, I think we need to outline some shit. This will be the show to do it, just to outline some shit on what is simping and what ain't simping, because the shit get thrown around a lot. Sometimes to make it sound like just doing something nice for your lady is considered simping, or taking care of your woman is considered simping. So I want a little bit of clarity on that. But yeah, that's all I got for now.
All right, Israel.
Yo, thanks, Trigger Mike, for letting me get on. I appreciate it. Salute to all the brothers on the panel and everybody that's in the chat room. Salute. Yo, salute to my boy Truth Over Emotions. Thank you. Salute to you, fam. Hey, so look, first thing is, man, dang. So y'all just said so much. EBD, right? If you take the people's guns, the people can't protect themselves. And if you're looking for the people
from what?
The agencies that you're talking about is going to protect them people is the same people you got to protect yourself from in some cases and some instances. Now, this is the thing, right? So to be clear, I just want to say that, rest in peace to those children that lost their lives. That's a sad and unfortunate incident. To anybody that lost their lives in mass shooting and gun violence, may God grant you paradise. May you rest in peace, and may God grant your family peace and comfort. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the families that lost loved ones in those incidences, and may God grant you comfort. I know that's got to be a hard situation, right? And it's not a joking matter. With that said, it's not the guns. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. That's number one, right? And number two, someone much smarter than me said that it was an agenda that's being pushed that allows for these mass shootings to occur so that they can justify taking the guns from the hands of the people. And there's no justification in America for taking the guns out of the hands of the people, because the people have a right to defend themselves against what do you say? Enemies, foreign and domestic. You know what I'm saying? From being able to someone to be able to assert themselves over you and force you into doing something. So I definitely stand with you, Trigger Mike, on that instance. I don't believe that we should take the guns out of the hands of the people. It's not really, because the truth of the matter is, Mr. Payne, a lot of times when people get firearms, they're not legal. when they're committing these crimes, they're not legal firearms. They're illegal firearms. So how do you regulate that? The answer is you can't. It's the same thing with drugs. It's the same thing with anything, right? People do illegal, quote unquote, illegal things all the time, right? Wouldn't we agree on that?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
It's me, Trigger Mike. I swear to God, it's not me.
It's brother.
It was you. It was you, bro.
So look,
No.
right. So with that said, like, I just think that we got to just be smarter. We got to understand that that's the way of the world that we live in. It's a such thing as crime anywhere in the world that you go, especially when it's a monetary system in place, especially when there's a lot of people in place. There's going to be some level of crime, right? And so it's no way to really regulate it through taking the guns out of the hands of the people. But we could get into that. But then also, as far as simp, I'm with King Spark as always. What Drake ever do to anybody? Trigger Mike. What Drake do to anybody?
I had to go to King Simp.
Drake is a simp with a P
I had
in
to
front
go
of
to
it.
King
What
Simp.
you talking about? How you gonna talk about
Does
this?
that light skin look it out for each other?
What did Drizzy do to anybody?
Because he light skin, you finally admit
that light skin privilege.
Drizzy got like 9 albums of simpism. Like it's
nah,
Drizzy ain't never. Hey, Trigger Mike, Trigger Mike.
Yo.
How many simps on the panel right now?
Former simp.
At least 3. At least.
Hold
on. We're gonna establish a simp sliding scale. Everybody got a little bit in them, right? So whether you'll simp a little, maybe for your daughter, but you'll simp a little for your wife, maybe just a little. But the intensity scale is different, especially when you present it out into the world, right? So
you know what I mean.
At a simp scale of 50% or more, we might have 3. We might have 3.
What quadrant are they in right now?
Money Muse got me messed up. Ain't nothing as simple about me, Money Muse. You got me messed up, fam. I must not be on this panel because ain't nothing simply about.
I'll be the first one to say I used to be a simp. I grew up that way, raised by women. How else was I going to grow up? I wasn't around my dad. So
no, she's so lucky. Don't try to clean it up. So in my purpose, no, so lucky. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
So Israel, you don't think you're a simp, bro?
Oh, I know I'm not a simp, sir.
Okay,
John the Baptist. He's not he's not the simp, but from what I'm hearing, everybody keep calling him the White Knight.
Yeah, they say this is our White Knight. This is our White Knight. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely not a simp, without question.
I feel you're more like Ivanhoe than somebody like that, Robin Hood or some shit.
Maybe more like Robin Hood than anything.
So my question is, what's a White Knight, dear?
According to these folk that throw these frivolous terms around, according to these guys that throw these frivolous terms around, it's a man that jumps on his mighty steed and comes to the rescue of a damsel in distress. The hero in most stories, that's a White Knight. Just
okay, guys. Okay.
Captain Saberho.
Hey, and Sean Melvin know what he talk about. I'm more like what he said. Hey, salute to you, sir. You know one when you see one, because pimping is pimping is pimping.
All right, Trucker Yell. Opening thoughts.
I want to salute the officers that actually didn't say anything. They just went in there and took him or her ass out. So I want to salute that.
Man. Took the schman out. Go ahead.
Took this. Damn it! took that evil person out. It wasn't no asking. It was just blasting. So, I think that how I think what's gonna happen here is most likely they gonna bypass the person that did this atrocious bullshit. You ever notice how all these school shooters always attack the little kids?
Yep.
Like every single one. It don't make sense. It's like this is what happens when Most people always talking about emotional feelings and all that other bullshit. This what comes with it. This is the type of people you create. And EBD, man. Why you look like you about to sell like a $5 million contract?
Because I just might. No, I'm
He
kidding.
look like he about to produce an album.
No, for real. It's just it's windy here and it's gotten cold in my room and I'm sitting next to a window, so I had to wear something.
I understand. But yeah, I'm just amazed how many people just I ain't really seen nobody have discussions about this. But a lot of people have been talking about this Black China bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's just like, all right, I see where this is gonna go. They're gonna try to come up with some excuse with the oh well, not all and all this other bullshit. And we sitting there like, well, you every time y'all motherfuckers is always it's all transgenders, this, that, and the third. And then they're gonna put it on, well, we need to get rid of assault rifles and shit like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't getting rid of none of mine, especially with my Hillian. Mm-mm. 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 EBD, I don't understand how you can say that. But I think they should. I think from now on, me personally, I think all teachers should have a pistol in their class. That's just me. Because
Amen.
this can't
You
continue
shaking
going
your head,
on.
Israel. What do you think their answer is? I mean, how are you?
That's not a good
Yeah,
That
idea.
about it.
Listen, it's part. Listen, this is.
Let them get
I
through.
want.
Let us
Go
let
through
us
the
let us
panel.
get through.
Go through the panel, and
Okay,
then
Anike.
we'll go
Right.
through that.
'Cause
All right,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
we'll
I
make
gotta
that.
I gotta get my turn in.
Let's get to
that
Just
Ikene.
your turn, Jonathan.
All right, well, no, let's get to Ikene, then we're gonna make that the first question. Should teachers have firearms? All right,
What about my
Ikene,
turn? I gotta get
open it.
mine in.
You
John the Baptist, you
lying like shit.
started off,
He
family.
started.
Yeah,
I
you
was like,
went
who said
first.
that?
You went first.
Ikene,
You think just
open
because
it
you
up.
changed position, we forgot? What's wrong with you?
Yeah. The thing is this, right? We have a saying in Nigeria that says, he who buys or he who sells a dog and buys a monkey still has problem in his house. So if you sell a dog to buy a monkey, you still have a thief in your house. So what it means basically is this.
no simps are not needed. I don't care what you say.
Hold
Simps
on,
are
hold
not
on.
needed.
Hold on,
I don't
That
even know what
bloodline should be
Trucker was
deleted.
talking.
Hold on,
Trucker,
Trucker. Yeah, hold on, Trucker.
we
Yeah.
don't even know what.
Trucker,
We don't
you
even know
just
what
interrupted
subject
for
he's
no
talking
reason.
about. You just talk all over the brother.
Go
That
ahead,
nigga
Mr.
said
Ikene.
you heard the dog and the monkey said
Go
a
ahead,
baby.
Mr. Ikene.
All
I
you said was
apologize. I
all you got to say
apologize.
was monkeys and dogs, and you
Like
just
this dude's
shoved
a
No,
all
no,
ghost.
no,
over.
not him. Not him. Somebody in the chat was saying simps are needed like hoes. No, they not.
Start
No,
reading the
no,
chat
no.
All
though.
right,
Start reading the
go ahead,
chat.
And
Mr.
you
Start
talking
reading
Ikene.
the
about the
chat.
monkeys and the
All right,
dogs
y'all
are
mute up,
interested.
mute up.
We
Y'all
trying to
mute
My
get
up.
back to the
apology. My
monkeys and
apology,
these
old school.
dogs.
My apologies.
All right, go
Oh,
ahead.
So
that's
what it
so
means
funny.
basically is this, right? If you think that the best way to get rid of crime is to arm the citizens, you are joking. That is why they have what we call law enforcement. You armed law enforcement, you armed the people that have the skills to deal with something like that. You put them in strategic places whereby they can fight crime. When you arm the citizens, you are arming people of diverse diseases, diverse domestic problem, diverse situation. So now you are arming somebody that has the wherewith to think and somebody that is messed up in their brain.
Yeah, okay.
So you are giving someone that has a mental problem access to gun. Just imagine what that person will do. There is a reason why the military, before the military gives you a firearm to go to war, they test your mental capability. You go through rigorous testing, you go through rigorous training to be able to be armed with something that at a push of a trigger, 10 to 20 people are going down. How would you do that? There is a reason why most countries on earth have low crime, whereas United States, The homicide in the United States in a month surpassed the whole world combined. And the reason why that is that problem is because you are arming fools, you are arming retards, and you are arming delusioned people, and you are arming people that are good.
Okay.
Today, kids have become soft targets. The reason why kids are soft target today is because they know when they go to school, they can do a lot of damage before the law enforcement gets there. That is why they go for kids. But if you decide that you want to arm teachers, now you're going to be getting accidental discharge. So pick your poison, because when that teacher has that gun on their waistband, something wrong can happen. You know why? In 1956, my uncle was selling a palm wine. Trigger Mike might know what palm wine is.
Oh yeah, it's nasty, but continue.
So his friend had a double barrel on his shoulder. And his friend and the other guy, they were fighting. So my uncle separated the fight. And the other guy said something bad. And my uncle stood, and his friend stood up to go towards that friend and the other friend again. Then my uncle forced him on a chair. When he forced him into that chair, his hand was already on the trigger. So when his friend sat on that chair, his hand pressed the trigger, and my uncle was forward like this. Guess what happened? The bullet went through here and blew my uncle right in front of my father. My father never forgot that. That is why my dad said there will never be a gun in the family. So when you be careful what you wish for, and it's because of what we wish for in America. That's why America every month surpass global death rate in homicide.
All right, so we're gonna go on with the first question, right?
I was gonna say I know.
Hey, Trigger Mike, come on, wait, hold on. First of all,
we gotta go on. Hold on, we're gonna stay in order, Israel.
No, we not. John the Baptist, you already went. First of all, this man is making them.
No,
wait, hold on, John the Baptist, hold on. You answered the first question already. First of all,
I'm not talking about that.
Yo, first of all, this man just said that the death rate in the United States, the homicide rate in the United States is greater than the whole world. That's a lie, yo. That's a lie from the pits of hell. That's number one. Number two, fam, I'm sorry for the loss of your uncle, and I'm sorry for what happened, but you can't equate one situation in 1956 as a barometer for why people should not own guns. That's number two. Number three, these law enforcement officers that you talk about, have you not heard of the brother? What's the brother that just got stomped out and deleted by these officers? What about Fernando Castile? What about Sean Bell? What about I could name 1,000 people who have been deleted by these same officers that you're talking about. What's the name of that woman that was in Dallas, Texas, that walked into that man's house and just deleted him? What was her name?
Yeah.
What was her name?
Amber
Geiger. Amber Geiger, right?
And he was eating ice cream when he got deleted.
The man was eating ice cream in his own house.
How did you all know what he was eating? Never mind.
Well, anyway, that's what they said. But anyway, the point is, this talking point that he's saying is delusional at best. You're saying, oh, the people. Listen. I've been carrying since I could carry. I don't go. My gun is like my American Express. I don't go nowhere without it. My baby is always with me. You know what I'm saying? And I might have 2 or 3 babies with me at the time. I love them girls. You know what I'm saying? I keep Nina and Sesamina with me at all times. You feel me? So and nothing ain't never happened like that. And I'm an older gentleman. I stay with them. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is to be responsible. The thing is to carry responsibly. The thing is to understand gun safety. The thing is to understand how to brandish your weapon, how to use your weapon, and how to operate when you have a weapon on you. I would argue that the people that I know, when they are strapped up, they tend to be the most disciplined people. They tend to be the people that are least likely to get into the altercation, because when they do, they understand that it's going to be a loss of life. You see what I'm saying? But now these officers that you're talking about, a lot of these officers are in worse mental condition than the citizens that you're saying that they are supposed to protect. I don't rely on anybody to protect me but me and my God. That's it. That's all.
Can I ask a question to everybody? I think who's a gun advocate on the panel. I just wanted to know, like, how many people have you ever shot anybody? Has anybody ever shot anybody?
Yo, my G, this
No
is
comment.
why you asking personal questions, my G?
The reason
No
I
comment.
ask, so he says 3. So that's
No, look, I just put it like this.
right.
I just put it like
Israel,
this. Always,
firearm
always.
discharge is not a personal
Always.
question.
Well. I'm just saying here's the reason I asked. That's a personal question, but the reason I ask is, like, the kind of lifestyle you live. Like, do you really require a gun from 24 hours a day, sunrise to sunset?
Can I
Like,
I'm
answer
a
that?
black man in
Can I answer
America. Yes. Yes.
Wait.
I'm a black man in America.
Okay,
Yes.
so the
Yeah.
first,
Being
so the
alive.
first,
Yes.
so the first
We got an
question
order.
is-
We have
so
an
the first-
order. We
hang
have
on,
an
hang
order.
on,
We
hang
have an
on.
order.
So the first
right.
question led to the second question, which leads to the reasoning of why you may be an advocate for gun ownership. That's all I'm saying.
All right,
Well,
let's
there's
get to the
different
first
reasons.
question. Let's get to the first question. We're gonna start with EBD. Should we arm teachers to stop school shootings? Now, let's get some realistic data behind this. So I'm now getting an influx of people in my course for the last 2 months. I don't even know what school districts in Houston, but there are several school districts in Houston that are going to let a group of teachers. So it's not all. They're going to be designated teachers that show the proficiency and training to be armed, concealed in a classroom. So it is actually something that, if it's already under the law, they can regulate it by school district to where the district can allow the people to carry inside the school rather than out in their car as the current law exists. So what do y'all think about that, arming teachers to stop school shootings? EBD, you first.
I say hell no. I'm one of those people that think that more guns is not a solution; it's a problem. I see this as another reason that kids can have access to guns. Now, not only do they have to, even if you're not a gun owner and the parents aren't a gun owner at home, now they have access to another weapon, which is at school. Or in a certain classroom. Kids are gonna find out. They're gonna find out how to access it. That's just what they do. That's just what they do. Get into stuff they're not supposed to. Number one and number two, if teachers who don't like students anyway, or who don't like this certain student anyway, or who had a bad experience with this student anyway, now they have access to a firearm. So that kind of changes the emotional dynamic of, well, I don't have to take this. I can actually do something about it. And we're going to hear about more school shootings, not less of them. Especially now they're just going to be teachers and former students and stuff like that.
All right. Mr. Rich, your turn.
Yeah, you guys can hear me. Listen, there's a couple of options. One, if we don't arm certain teachers and train them, it can't be any worse than what it really is right now. How many more people do we have to see killed? I mean, we have to see 300 kids killed in a school before we do something. Either we have to somehow subsidize one or more security officers for every school, or the teachers need to be armed. It's as simple as that, because it's too late for us to go backwards. Right? America is the only country that keeps the whole gun industry alive. If it wasn't for us, it'd be dead. And that money that's flowing through is not going to stop. We can't be naive. If we want to save our kids, we have to protect them. And protect them means that there's got to be more people with weapons around them on their side as opposed to none. So if it's not the teachers, and every teacher doesn't hate their students, so all this stupid shit on YouTube where teachers are getting in fights with their kids, that's the exceptions. Those are not the rules, okay? Most teachers love the kids they teach, right? And if they're trained enough to protect them, but I would rather maybe every school, even if it has to be subsidized by the government, should have 1 or 2 security guards around every time the school's in session, walk in those halls armed for those kids. So nobody walks on, and whatever kind of security shit with cameras and stuff, You know, we got to pay the cost. How much is the life of our children worth? Because we're giving money away for all kinds of bullshit, right? How come we ain't putting? We need to put. Well, if we're gonna spend something, let's spend that shit on something that's worthwhile, right? And our children are worthwhile. You know, the shit in Ukraine, all this bullshit, money to transgenders and all these fucking things. Hey, listen, spend the money on people that are the future. Protect them. Because the laws are certainly not going to protect them. Shit on a piece of paper ain't going to protect a goddamn body. Because criminals don't give a shit about the laws. You know, so that's my thing. Two things: arm the teachers and have security guards. That's it.
Okay.
Um,
King's Park.
I think I'm right with Brother Payne on this one, man. I think that I really don't want like Miss Stogsnowski to have a 45 in her purse. I don't feel safe all the way like that. But I do feel like maybe we could start off maybe like with Trigger Mike and some of the people that you know. I'm just saying because I know you might be home in a day. Maybe start off with a little volunteer like force to have like parents volunteer, you know, split the little shifts up for a couple of hours. Parents that are on maybe to do it in some places that don't have the money. But I really believe like they should put it on the students and the parents. Like maybe if it comes out to I don't know what it would cost, but I don't know $20 a month for each kid to pay for the salaries for the security guards. But definitely I believe but well whatever, but definitely I believe that it would it should start there. At least with two in every school. No questions asked.
Oh, that's what's up. Let's get to Israel. Should we arm teachers to stop school shootings?
Absolutely not. We should not arm teachers. Teachers should not be armed. But like you said earlier, like King Spar says, I think not necessarily security guards, but I think that off-duty police officers should actually be at these schools. A lot of schools do have that, but I'm just saying I believe that off-duty police officers should be at the schools, and like two of them, and it should deter the threat to happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I believe. But no, teachers should not have firearms because, again, listen. First of all, this is the thing, Mr. Plain, right? You're talking about an assault rifle versus a handgun. So in order for it to be fair, then the teacher has to have an assault rifle. And the thing about an assault rifle is not unless she's going to carry it on her back like Rambo, or he carried on his back like Rambo, whoever the teacher may be, then they would not be able to get to it fast enough in most cases to be able to quelch out the threat.
Israel, let me stop you real quick. What is an assault rifle?
Well, okay, like what they I know what you said in the beginning.
Okay, I'm like,
what you said in the beginning, Trigger Mike, I heard you. What I'm saying is what they classify as an assault rifle. Let's just say something bigger than what you would carry in your hands. How about that? Is that better? You like that better?
You can just say rifle.
Okay, a
semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic. Well, we know. Well, hold on. So the point that I'm making is, if you have to put that in a place where it's accessible to you, then that means that it's accessible to the children as well. Because if you lock it up in a closet and then you have a shooting situation, then you probably are not going to be able to get to it. So you got to have it near your desk, or you're going to have it accessible to you. And if it's accessible to you, it's accessible to the children. So no, they should have officers. A police officer, this is the one place where I agree with Mr. Enike, is they should have officers at the school to protect the children.
Well, that's my second choice.
Yeah. And not the teachers.
But let me just say one thing. I mean, you made a scenario of a long gun against a handgun, but I would.
We got to stay on. I've been waiting an hour and a half.
Let him finish.
An hour and a half already.
I mean, it's going to be 2 seconds, John the Baptist. All I'm just trying to say is, it depends on who has the gun. I mean, every teacher might not have a gun, but listen, that guy even with an automatic gun, he's not going to be able to cover all six, his whole six, right? So whoever has the gun can sneak up on him and all this kind of stuff. I don't think any teacher should have an assault rifle, but let's move on. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So a handgun is not generally. Listen,
If the guy
you're
sees
trying
him,
to
maybe
listen.
not.
So what they're saying in the chat is you're gonna have to have people. You can basically what you're gonna have to have as teachers is you're gonna have to have damn soldiers as teachers. By what y'all are saying, I'm just letting you know. That's the only other option.
Oh my
Except that a lot of
All
teachers, a lot of teachers.
Let's get
own
to Trucker
guns,
Yale.
believe it
Trucker
or
Yale, what
not.
do you think? Should we arm teachers to stop school shootings?
I think we should have all the above. We should have a minimum of 2 police officers every in every school. We should also all the teachers should have a pistol on them. They also got security measures where they do got boxes that are literally fingerprint. Okay, fingerprint. It literally slides the gun to you. You know what I'm saying? The kids can't open that box if it's fingerprinted. Okay, I would rather have that. And then on top of that, y'all, it's not just the kids that's dying, it's the parents that's dying too, that are teachers. They got kids. So they need to protect themselves too. So yes, I would rather want to go home to my kids after putting a bullet in somebody's head for trying to kill somebody else. I would expect that from other people. I would expect that from anybody on this panel or any woman that would be on this panel. That's how I look at it. If I'm willing to put my life on the line for your kids, you should be able to do the same thing.
All right.
So it should be all the above. I don't care about teachers having pistols on them. They're not carrying them on them. They got them right there at the desk with the little fingerprint box where the pistol slides up to you. Literally. It's not in the closet. I don't care what you bring, whether it's an assault rifle or whatever. Just get it done because this shit is too much. I shouldn't have to worry about my 9-year-old literally getting his head sniped off by some damn transgender. It's ridiculous.
And I'm all right. You know, it's not my go yet. Mr. Egan.
Your Mike's chopping at the bit.
Is your show, Mike?
Go ahead.
Always your turn.
Okay, Mike, who's next?
Trying to be respectful. Establish order. All right, go ahead, Mr. Egan. Let me get a thumbs up, Tarus. Tarus in the back. I see you. Give me a thumbs up.
Hey, well,
Yo,
wait,
Alonzo in the chat. Alonzo in the chat makes a good point. Now that's a good point though. That Alonzo H, he makes a good point.
Quest, let me get a thumbs up so I know it's you. Got a lot of people.
Nike's
They're
left.
gonna take the bro. You can mount. You can mount these boxes.
For Mike to give me a go ahead so I can speak.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Egan. It's all you.
Well, hold on. Let me get my campfire lit for the story. Go ahead. I just want to have my marshmallows and shit on there. I wasn't joking, man. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Yeah, I think like I spoke about this earlier. I said that the best thing to do is to have armed police officers to be able to tackle issue like that because number one, it's good to deter something than to have to fight it. So prevention is better than cure. If we have to have to secure the perimeter of a building, maybe build a fence around schools going forward, spend that money, that would be one of the best things. So when you secure parameters of the school so that there won't be any access into the building, and then you build a security which is like a metal detector entrance to the main school building where a force police officer will be stationed, so that way anybody that goes in and out of that school will have to go through that metal detector to detect firearms. In a situation whereby you have a killer coming into the school, the killer has to go through that. In some cases, the killer has to kill the police officer in front of the building before they can go past him. That's the first alert that something wrong is going on. Secondly, you can build a bulletproof housing for the police officers so that way the killer or whoever it is has to go through a force metal detector before they can get to the police or under to the housing where the police officer is. So that if they have anything that will be triggered by the metal detector, a police officer will be alerted first that this individual is coming in with something unusual. It can either trigger a tap down or force that individual to strip themselves before they can get to their before they can come closer to the police officer for extra tap down. Those things might look foreign to us. Everything that I'm saying might look foreign, but guess what? Like I said earlier, prevention is better than cure. Is You got to put people through uncomfortable situations when they look suspicious. If you kind of have feelings that they have something unusual in their body or on their body, you got to make them to strip somewhere before they can come to you. That's all I got to say.
All right, John the
So,
Baptist.
I now know what it means. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. I now know what that means. I spent an hour and a half waiting. I'm just joking.
I was like, for real?
Man,
I went first.
The
Now I'm going
damn
last.
show ain't even been an hour and a half.
I was like, damn, for real?
But
All
listen to y'all talk. It felt like an hour and a half long. But no, I'm just joking. But no, I get it. But no, seriously though. So I was in the military. I was a unit. I was a unit army for my unit. And so, far as security, the best secure weapon in the military was the one that's in the armory. And if it's not in the armory, the second best secure place is in your hand or in your holster, whatever device you have set up to carry it. So when we say the army teachers, so let me say this first. Army teachers, I would say, I wouldn't want the first line to just to be stick with the natural order things. I wouldn't want the first line to be women. I think we should do what we can to protect women and kids. That's just I think that's just the right thing to do. Now, but because there are not a lot of men in teaching, maybe we could have some of the the reserves work in the school system. I don't know. But even if I go back to military training, there's not a whole lot of military training on shooting unless you're
Mm.
just unless you're just a infantry soldier, I guess. But most of us people like who worked, I was in unit supply. I worked in finance. We didn't go to the course, but maybe what 1 2 times a year. Police officers, what I keep hearing, police officers, they don't go to they're not highly trained in carrying weapons either, or conflict resolution. I've been hearing this
that is a
lately.
fact. That is a fact.
So I think if we're gonna keep this, we're looking for something. We're looking for something to be done. Somebody need to mute up. We're looking for something that need to be done, right? And I agree, something needs to be done. What's the best way to get there? I don't know. But what I will say is that something needs to be done. If there's teachers who are willing to get out there and learn how to go to learn the protocols, someone creates a protocol, teachers willing to learn the protocol, then let's make it happen. I have no problem with teachers carrying weapons to protect the students. I would prefer that we have more men teachers in this situation because I don't want to put a bunch of women. I'm not saying that women are not capable of doing it, but I think my mentality is protect women and kids first. But that's just my mentality, and I'll end up playing now.
All right, my man Quest, first time on the Trigger Mike show. What's going on, bro?
What's good with you, my brother? Hey, look, so let me just go ahead and just lay it out for some of y'all that may not know me or my background. I did 20 years in the military, Special Forces Green Beret. I would say the last 3 of those years, I also worked in force protection. The way force protection translates to the regular civilian is if there is let's say, for example, a special forces safe house that's somewhere in a foreign country, my job was to go to those actual properties and then make sure that the protection measures in that building or facility or whatever it is were up to a certain standard to protect those people who actually reside in those spaces, right? So I'm gonna come at you from a couple different angles, right? I do believe that every teacher should be armed. Now, do I think that the teachers should have pistols on their hips? No, I don't. Because I know some things get very hectic in these schools, and sometimes these schools I'm not schools. Sometimes these kids are little fucking assholes and who can play the prank game and all this other goofy shit, right? So I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is there needs to be biometric safes inside of every single classroom. That way a teacher had, and the only person that has the access to that actual pistol is the teacher himself, not the teacher from the next door, not the other teacher from across the hall or the principal from over here or any of that goofy stuff. No, we're talking about the teacher for that specific classroom. He or she is the only person that has biometric entrance into that particular safe. And I'm not suggesting that it be rifles that's in that safe. I'm only suggesting that it would be handguns that would be in that safe. And the reason why I say handguns, because it's a lot easier. And I mean, and we could go back and forth on that. I'm sure me and Trigger could probably go back and forth on what would be easier to teach somebody how to shoot. But I think it would be fairly easy to bring a teacher up to speed from nothing to, able to at least point the gun at the direction of the door of her classroom if anybody came in there that was not warranted or not supposed to be there, and point and pull the trigger. You understand? And that's how you protect the children that's inside of your classroom, right? And if every teacher does this, every single classroom is protected. We're not asking teachers to go out into the hallways, get into a stack and start clearing throughout the hallways of the school. That would be ridiculous. But for them to lock down inside of their classroom, put children behind desks maybe that are, heavier duty. That way, when you put them down and you face the surface of the desk toward the door of the actual classroom, they have protection that the kids can be standing behind. I think that is at a bare minimum can be done. I'll pause there because I got a lot more to say, but I'll pause there. Trig, what's your thoughts?
He dropped down, I believe. We're actually just going around the subject on it. We're going around on it. Tarus?
Thank you for inviting me on the platform. Nice to meet you guys. John, good seeing you again, man. Hey, Quest, shout out to you, man. I'm not as hardcore as you, but I served active duty 8 years. I got 2 deployments doing convoy security in Iraq and everything like that. So I think you and I are on the same page when it comes to the importance of weapon safety. My thing is that arming teachers is simply a symptom to the problem and doesn't get down to the root causes. In America, unfortunately, we have what's called the black rifle culture. The Second Amendment, we got too many people in this country who's built a whole identity around Second Amendment. These are the kind of guys who like to walk around Walmart with their rifles behind their back, waving their rights in everyone's faces. And then on top of that, we have a hard time teaching our children how to cope with rejection, cope with adversity, cope with all these sort of things. Combine that with a severe lack of mental health institutions that have been defunded since the 80s, since the Reagan administration, with this rugged individualism. I do encourage everyone to practice their Second Amendment rights. I encourage everyone to train and to arm themselves, but unfortunately, turning our schools into glorified prison is not the answer.
Man, what the hell?
So let me just say this.
Lord have mercy.
That's not close to prison at all.
Is he finished?
Hang on. He's finished, and then Lucky can go, and then we can just chop it up after that. Hang on. Let's just get everybody's thing.
Yeah. So and temporarily, I would support maybe if you had some people, some civilians outside chilling in the parking lot, maybe some QRF kind of stuff. I know that's a little bit extreme, but right now, guys, these are just symptoms to the problems. We got to get to the root causes, and the root causes is we have a very toxic gun culture in this country that needs to be addressed. It's not the guns itself; it's the culture around it.
Right. So I don't disagree with just real quick. I don't disagree with you saying that we need to get to the root of it. Absolutely, I think we should. But in the meantime, while we're working on getting to the root cause of it and actually fixing the root cause of it, we need to have somebody inside the classrooms ready to protect children. For anybody that suggests that, I don't want to put women out there to be, because majority of the teachers are women. I wouldn't want women to be the ones that, man, listen, a lot of these women got kids, and I guarantee a lot of these women have guns at their homes, especially if they married, their husbands got guns at their homes. So if for
So
whatever
Quest,
reason,
I don't.
so
Hey Quest,
if
I don't disagree with what you're saying. Quest, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I don't. What I was trying to say when I made that statement was, I don't want to be the first option. But you are right. If it is an option, you don't. I rather have. I would rather for those women to be armed and ready to go. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to be the first
One second
option.
before
That's all I'm
we're
saying.
supposed to let Lucky go
We'll
and
go
then
back
open
to
it
it.
up.
We'll come back
We're supposed
to
to
it.
let Lucky go and then open it back up.
Go for it, Lucky. Go ahead.
Yeah. Quest kind of said what I was thinking, but I was just gonna add. I get what they're saying as far as the students could get to the guns, but that's assuming that the gun is just gonna be negligently there. Look how many kids get to guns in y'all households, not y'all, but the parents. Are you not gonna actually take the necessary steps to have protection in your household just because the kid? No, you take the steps to prevent them from being able to have access. There are schools like I want to say Ohio and Louisiana, those two places. They're actually taking steps to train their staffs, particular staff, to carry armed weapons, because if we understand since Columbine and before that, they have strategic ways of doing it when a person wants to come in and shoot up a school, such as they go to the classroom and then it's like they just spray the whole classroom. So I think if you have a situation where that happens, I don't understand why they can't just hire more security or, like somebody said, a metal detector. But let's say you don't have that type of funding or whatever the case may be. I think it's smarter to have teachers who are supposed to be there to protect the kids, teach your kids and all of that. When you're not there, actually can protect your child from somebody shooting. I think I want to ask y'all, do you think that arming teachers to protect your children, they should take those necessary steps to use the weapon if it's a kid, in fact, coming in to shoot up the school? Or does that make it a difference if it's a kid with a gun? Like,
Nope. The teacher should have a gun. Because you gotta think about it.
No, they
The
should not.
6-year-old,
They're
the
not even
6-year-old.
equipped. Wait, Trucker. They're not even equipped to deal with the students as they are without no guns involved at all. Most teachers are not even equipped to handle the behavioral and regular issues of the children today in the
what
classroom
kind of kids?
without any type of guns. Period.
Hang on.
Are
Regular
you talking
children.
about? Are you talking about the children that try to fight the teachers that are already violent? That's an in-home problem.
I'm talking about regular. Listen, my child is 9 years old. I have a child that's 9 years old, and that goes to school. And one of his major complaints is that the teachers are not equipped to deal with the students. And these are regular students. These are not behavioral problem students.
Y'all
so to
should
speak.
open.
These are
That's
not
because
these teachers are not even equipped to handle the regular students.
Y'all should let Quest talk right. Y'all should let Quest talk right now. Y'all should let Quest talk.
Hang on for a second. Because I don't think we're asking. I don't think we're really digesting one key fact and component of what we're asking a human adult to do in a school. We're asking a teacher, a human being who spent their life in education to teach and handle children, to be ready to take a child's life.
Like a
hold on.
That's why Quest. Listen. Hold up. That's why Quest should be. That's why Quest should be talking, because Quest has the experience and the mindset to deal with this conversation right now.
So let me.
I have a child in public school. I have a child in public school, though. Yes, I do.
But that was just one option. We talked about having security guards there.
That's what I agree. All right, y'all. One mic. Let me give my opinion about it. So this is actually where I start to be like, oh man, this is a topic. So let me give. I've heard everybody points, and I think I agree pretty much with everybody. That's the bad part. So I'm torn. I'm actually torn. And the reason I actually became torn is because I told you, now I train these people. Now that the school district is sending these people to me to be trained, and I don't really have the confidence anymore that I thought I had, because it's one thing, and Quest, and he probably Tarus can attest to this, it's one thing to have training. Execution is a whole other ball game. These women, so I tried them out in my basics class, which usually goes well. I can get anybody on target, and I mean anybody. Then they have to do the advanced class, the holster draw, presentation of the weapon. I've had 3 teachers almost shoot their goddamn fingers off on a holster draw. You see what I'm saying? And I had dummy rounds in it. So, and it's almost as if, okay, the execution of this, and there's no threat. With no threat, you fucking up. So now I don't have as much confidence that with a threat, the average, who said it? Miss
I said that. That was my
Dingleberry
point. That was making.
will not either hurt herself or another child before she even gets to the assailant. So,
So Mike, let me jump in here
Go
real
ahead.
quick, right? Because I get what you're saying, and actually, I can definitely respect your perspective because you're training these actual individuals. But here's the thing: I think sometimes we need to have a little bit better expectation management when it comes to who we're training, right?
Thank you.
So I've trained from regular like cooks in the military on shooting and tactical, drills, all the way up to your high level special forces operators. I've trained in shooting tactics, close quarters combat, the whole nine, right? And I know that once I'm training somebody that's at a higher level, I know that they should be able to do certain things without me having to tell them. These are implied tasks, da 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 da. But when I'm training these lower level people, I gotta have a little bit better expectation management, man. I know they're not gonna be able to operate at the the E7 that's a special forces operator for the past 15 years, right? It's just common sense, right? So when it comes to the actual teachers that we're training, right, by us saying, hey, we want them to be able to draw from the holster, presentation, be able to be able to have target discrimination, all these different things. I'm not asking them to do any of that. What I'm asking them to do is go to a safe. All right, the alarm has been triggered. Go to a safe, put your fingerprint on the safe, that's going to unlock it. You grab that pistol out, which is already loaded. You get behind your desk. You point your gun at the door. And if somebody was to enter that room without the proper whatever protocols, i.e. whatever is a safe word or whatever that proper protocol is for the person to enter into that room in the middle of the actual active shooter situation, then they have to be able to look and point the gun at that direction and just pull the trigger until that intruder is down. If they miss, here, hold on, give me a second, let it develop. If for whatever reason they miss, Mike, you know for a fact that if anybody is trying to intrude into your house, it don't matter if you shoot them or not. The sound of gunfire coming at them will deter them from going into that place and go somewhere else.
Actually, that's fact.
So even if they're not hit, just the sound of it, just the actual visual of somebody who's not being a victim is enough to make the actual assailant to go the other direction.
But that's partially.
Hold on, let me finish my answer. My initial answer.
And then can I go?
So, like I said, I'm torn. I'm on that side for the teachers that can pass the training, and there are school districts that are only going with the proficient people carrying. So on that end, 100%. That's the way I see it playing out. Then I say, okay, what about the people who don't have as many people pass this type of proficiency? What are the other things that they can do? That's what I'm torn about. So the way I'm thinking about it now is these things only happen in certain places. There usually isn't police presence on the campus. So if I was to write out a plan for a school district, I would say, what is present in every single school shooting? The person infiltrates the campus, right? So your first objective is stop infiltration of the campus. New York schools are notorious for having high level security. You got to put your bag through security. So the reason why I said that, I think Mr. Ikene said it. The funny thing is that my father told me this, so his father must have told him this. Prevention is better than cure. So with that saying, deterrence must be better than neutralizing the threat. Deterring the threat should be the first step before neutralizing the threat. You do whatever you can to deter them from even bringing guns. They're like, this security gonna find a gun and I'm gonna be expelled, right? So stuff like that. JC, let me get a thumbs up so I know it's you.
Can I say this real quick?
Hold on. Chris, I see you in the back. I'm gonna bring you up in 1 second. I'm gonna drop down. The next thing is to stop penetration of like the classrooms. So, if somebody does infiltrate the school, how do we stop penetration of the areas where, the children and the educators are? So I'm gonna go with the police presence at the very least, or security, because if you have, all schools aren't built the same, but let's say if even in a quadrant type thing, every officer must occupy a quadrant of the school. I watched the video of how that person bust through the school. They shot the glass out. Somebody heard that. You heard the shot. There's an officer in that quadrant. I'm taking you out now, right? That's more of a simple thing. And then if you do these type of things in unison and keep them going, I believe that all of those measures are a deterrent to crime. If you know you're going to have an unsuccessful infiltration, an unsuccessful penetration of whatever you're trying to do, you're just going to not do. You're going to think to not do it at all. The reason I believe a lot of these shooters are doing it is that schools are easy targets. The worst part about it is that rifle deaths or these type of deaths that happen are in the minority, right? So if we outlaw guns, we're going to have to outlaw hands, feet, knives, and everything else that people use to commit homicide, right? So it's just the school is an easy target
next, man.
to get a political agenda off, and that's why they're doing it. Respond.
Just real quick. Yo, so to Quest, like a lot of your plan sounds good, right? The only issue that I have is when I'm thinking about a combat or a gunfire situation, most people, unless you have soldiers or people who are trained to be in those type of situations or who are in those type of situations often, they're not going to be able to keep a level head enough. You're talking about teachers. We're talking about civilians. We're talking about people who are not trained in combat. So even no matter how good you train them as a teacher, unless they are soldiers as well, 9 times out of 10, that situation is going to go awry, because we all know that, first of all, when you're brandishing a weapon, you're firing, you know what I'm saying? If you're not used to it, it could
recoil.
Kick back, right? The recoil, the kickback, it could go and hit one of the kids. Secondly, we know that if they're firing at a person and a person is firing back, those stray bullets can hit the kids. So all these situations is why a teacher should not have the weapon. But the prevention, I like all the preventative measures. Maybe have a security, maybe have a National Guard, maybe have police officers to guard the perimeter. I like all of that. That's all I wanted to say.
I think, if you look at what Trigger Mike was saying earlier, there's something that I want to say really fast. In engineering, there is something called channel, right? You build a channel to redirect fluid because you don't want the fluid to be coming from different places and going different places, but you want them coming from different places, but going through a channel to direct them into a storage or something, right? I think most engineers and technicians know this. The reason why I said that is because of what Trigger Mike said and what I said earlier. You want to channel people into one entrance to the building, so that way you can build a metal detector just like it's built in New York, right? So that everybody can go through screening, students, visitors, teachers, everyone. That will eliminate the need for guns.
It might not,
for teachers being
because you're creating a choke point at that point. Right. If you have everybody coming in one way,
exit is different from entrance. This is for entrance. This is not for exits.
And government buildings are built that way. You all have to go into one place. Can I
give some numbers? Can I give some numbers?
Sure.
Let me just give some numbers.
What's up?
Let's just say there's approximately 150,000 schools from first grade to K-12 in the United States. If you paid a security guard $75K, or 2 security guards $75K, that would be kind of like maybe $22 billion a year to cover all the schools. If there was 60K, right, it'll be like 18 billion. Now, it sounds like a lot, but all of us
it's not.
But that's what I'm saying. All of us are attuned to how much money the government spends. It has to be a federally funded program. And listen, I don't see why the senators and the congressmen and the president can't get together and say, we're not going to take the guns away from people. We're not going to be able to pre-select who's crazy and who's not, because I could be sane today and crazy tomorrow. And, so the guns ain't going nowhere. We got to stop arguing that. Laws ain't going to protect our children. We have enough laws on the books. It's money and putting the right protection. And even if I went with Israel, and I can back away from teachers having a gun, but if that's not the case, then we got to have active protection in every single school. And we spend money on preventative measures everywhere. That's why our defense budget is the biggest in every country combined.
Hey, Payne, I agree with you, but here's the problem. The prevention methods are going to be the best, because we have to remember, Teachers are already underpaid and overworked. And then their full-time job is to teach. And we already have a very epidemic as it is teachers having to work Uber and Lyft just to buy their own school supplies. So we have to understand that having teachers properly trained. I was just simply pushing back on the teacher's arm, because we have to remember that's a whole different skill set in order to do that. So I would prefer that if we're going to do some sort of lockdown measures, let's strengthen the windows. Let's do what you said, like the armed security guards and everything. That's just the teachers already have a lot on their plate, and arming them is just going to make things worse.
And then plus unaliving, plus the trauma of unaliving another human being. Most people are not equipped to really handle taking a life. Right. I know that, but I'm just saying most people are not equipped to take a life.
This is why I said guns. Teachers having guns wasn't the answer.
I agree with you on that, but I'm saying we shouldn't take the guns from American citizens. Teachers shouldn't have guns.
We're going on order, right?
Yeah. We go ahead, Ruckus, because I think I haven't heard from you yet. And then Ms. Beacon, your response, sir?
Okay. Ruckus. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, what's up, Tarus?
Hey, Ruckus.
What's going on? Yo, Israel, what's good, man?
What's good,
going
family?
on,
How you doing, man?
Chilling, man. Man, this is heartbreaking news, man. I mean, it's children. We're talking about children. We got into a point in our society where, we have to think about, putting armed people inside of our education system where little children have nothing to do with with anything. You know what I mean? So, and I think a lot of preventative measures that you guys talked about, are doable. I see it happen here in my area where I live at in Miami. I mean, every school here in Miami, I mean, we put family first over here. Our children comes first in my area, where in every single school, majority of schools are A schools, and we have multiple police officers on scene. And it's one of the safest areas that you can be a part of. Like, we can actually see our tax dollars go into actually building our communities over here. So that's one preventative measure, obviously, is having police officer presence in around the perimeter of the school. Another preventative measure that I've seen that actually works is that the police officers, they're not authoritarians, they're actually public servants. And what I mean by that is that they do community events for families year in and year out for the kids specifically. So what does that mean is that majority of the time, like in the summer, during October for Halloween, during Christmas, 4th of July events and the whole nine, kids and their families can go to these parks and everything, and it's thrown by like the police community, and they can actually meet these cops. Families are interacting with these police officers. You see the familiar faces. So they're building a community with one another. They're not isolated from the community. They're actually integrated within the community. So the parents already know the familiar faces. The officers know familiar faces. Everybody's building a community together. Another thing is when my daughter's schools, what they end up doing as well is that they hire officers for them to actually be part of the program, where it got to a point where now they actually have a police academy inside the school. And they actually take them to like the FBI building. They take them over to the criminal justice building. They take them over even to the jail so they can see what it's like and everything. They give them boot camp training and so forth for the people that are actually interested in where they have a criminal justice program inside of a middle school. You get what I mean? So all these preventative measures that you do, building your community, integrating yourself within the community, having a strong police officer presence in the community, putting family first, putting children first, all of those things are make for a stable community. And not only that, I would also, outside of the preventative measures, I would say put back the fear of God in these people. And what I mean by that, I mean people that you want to mess with children. Go ahead, try to mess with children, but bring back public execution so they can understand what the consequences is like when you mess with little kids, man.
Because in theory, Ruckus, that works, but you got to remember they're already prepared to die when they're doing these mass shootings.
No, that's fine. If they're prepared to die, that's cool. But if they don't, and you put the public execution in front of those in front of a massive amount of people, the people that are actually considering about doing that, they might have second thoughts.
Hey, Team Fatty, they
might
did
have
say
some
less
thoughts about
guns
that.
originally. They did say less guns originally. Some of us agree with less guns, and most of us didn't agree with less guns. They
But
did say that originally.
Yeah.
but I agree also with the children. You can't. I mean, not children. With the teachers, I don't think a lot of teachers won't even be put in that position to carry firearms in the classroom, because the thing
Hey,
is that
let me say something, man.
really quick, really
Because
quick.
Y'all hear
I'll
me?
land the plane here. I'll land the plane here. I'll land the plane here, because the thing is that when you're dealing with multiple children, you're also kind of dealing obviously with multiple personalities, and you don't know how they're being raised up in their home and everything. There might be a lot of mental issues with some of the kids that you might not even know, might not even be aware about. So it's kind of like it's very risky to put a teacher in that predicament, and I truly believe a lot of teachers don't want to be in that predicament. So I just say just hire police officers into the school.
So here's the
So
thing, right? Most schools I would suggest have a cop, at least one there. It's just not
Agreed.
enough. It's just not enough, right? And we're talking about a teacher, one teacher per classroom, right? That has an actual gun. I think we're doing these people because these are humans, right? Take the teacher out of it. Take the teacher title, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Take that out of it, right? These are human beings. Do you think that if somebody was to walk inside their home and they have kids inside their home, that they would be afraid to pull the trigger? No.
Quest, I get your sentiment, but you gotta remember, man, they're teachers.
Give me a second, bro. Give me a second.
Yes,
So I
sir.
don't think it's any different. A lot of these teachers take these kids in their classrooms. They take them and they feel like they're their kids. They say it all the damn time. These are my kids. These are my kids. So I think we're doing these people a disservice by saying that, oh, they may not want to pull the trigger on somebody that's coming there to harm their kids. I think they would absolutely, overwhelmingly, I think. Clearly, we can't say all. I'm sure
But
there's going to be a
Quest,
percentage of people that will not be in tune with trying to do that. But overwhelmingly, I think they would be down to die for their kids.
Quest, let me ask you a quick question. How often have you heard of these same teachers that are not even able to control their classroom? And Chris just came in, so I'm gonna let him get in. But I just want to know, how often have these same teachers not even been able to control the students in their classroom without any guns at all?
Right. So but we're not trying to we're not asking them to control kids right now. What we're telling them to do is say, kids, this is the drill. Because like every kid knows when certain situations come up, it's, hey, we need to focus on this, right? Think about, I want everybody to
West, I have a question for you as
hold
well.
on, bro. God damn.
No, finish up. I have a question
Chris
for
is
you.
next.
Hold on.
Chris is
I want
next.
everybody on the panel right now to go back to when you were in middle school and high school, right? There was a time when we were in that space where it was like we took certain things seriously. All right, if there was a fire drill, all right, everybody move the fuck on out this particular manner. Nobody's like trying to like go off and do goofy shit. Overwhelmingly, the majority of kids understand that, hey, and now that these schools are having like active shooter drills, they understand that, hey, this is a serious thing. People have died all across the country. We need to take the instructions from the teacher very seriously, right? This isn't regular class time. This is, hey, the alarm has been pulled. The teacher is saying we need to put our desks down and we need to get behind them. I don't think, right? I want everybody to still be in that child mindset. I don't think children are trying to go off and defy the teacher in this moment. They're trying to listen and they're trying to make sure that their lives stay safe, right? And so when it comes to controlling the students, the teacher won't have an issue controlling students in that particular moment. Then it's just a matter of the teacher going and putting her biometric fingerprint on the damn safe, pulling the gun out, get her getting behind the desk as well, pointing at the door and waiting for anybody to come in there that's not supposed to be in there.
Quest, you know, for most civilians, that's an unrealistic standard. Quest, come on, man.
What's unrealistic about grabbing a gun, getting behind your desk?
Trying to unalive somebody?
Quest, these are teachers. They're overworked, underpaid. They already have to deal with a lot of crap. And Quest, you have to remember, since you want us to use real life, in real life, if we did that, do you know how many teachers would quit?
Exactly.
Because now you're expecting them to possibly shoot one of their students. There's going to be a mass people just quit.
They probably should quit anyway if they that overwhelmed without a gun.
I do have a question.
Then you wouldn't have no teachers, Lucky. Wait, hold on, Mr. Ikine. It's Christopher Stern. It's Christopher Stern, Mr. Ikine.
He's a new one on the panel, right?
I have a question for Quest.
Okay.
So
Christopher, go ahead, please.
All
here's the same thing that happened in Uvalde, same thing that happened in Santa Fe, same thing that's happening here. It's real simple. You need more manpower. I trust security and police officer to pull the trigger versus teacher. I understand what Quest saying, and I would normally defer to him, but I know that's not practical. And I understand that most of these school districts are broke. They can only afford one police officer per school, maybe two. So the way I see it, you need to have one person on vehicle patrol on the outside. You need to have two people on foot patrol inside. One person in the surveillance room and another person in dispatch that is logging the patrols and responding to calls. So that's 5 people that needs to be in each school to make sure the kids are protected. That is the solution. Now, unfortunately, police officers cost too much. So dare I say you might need armed security. I'm in that field. Trust me, I see it all the time. And I've seen a lot of situations, of course, not to the same level as Trigger Mike and Quest. So let me not be disingenuous with that. I've seen a lot of things being prevented, and trust me, it could have been on the news, but because uniform presence was there, whether it be police or security, situations got deterred. So you need more manpower. Now, to tell a teacher, an underpaid teacher for that matter, to now pull a gun on school grounds, most of these teachers don't have guns at home. So I cannot trust them or rely on them to do something that extreme and still be in the same mental capacity to complete their job and be on the mental capacity not to quit.
Okay, I do have a question for Quest. Quest, I have 2 in 1 question for you, and this is the question: what is the possibility of a school being attacked by a gunman in the United States? Each school. What's the possibility of each school being attacked in the lifetime of
You
that
said
school by
me
a
or Quest?
Quest.
You said what's? Ask the question again. I'm sorry.
What is the possibility of a gunman attacking a single school in the United States?
I'm sure it's pretty low.
Okay. What is the possibility of a student pissing off a teacher?
Oh, that's high.
Okay. So if you armed, this is what you're going to bring in the school. If you arm the teacher and you know that there are 3 to 10 students that piss off a teacher every day, that teacher with a gun is going to have it one day and come into that school and shoot up the old students and kill him or herself. You know, that's the possibility, right?
You're right. That's definitely a possibility.
Okay, good. That means we're not going to arm teachers.
So he took the words kind of out of my mouth when he said that. The possibility is you're saying that you want to prevent, like, quote unquote, a school shooting by arming the teachers, but the other possibility is you are potentially starting another school shooting from the teacher.
Yeah. So here's the thing. All right. I think we need to be let's be a little careful here, right? I think every teacher. So this is Quest logic. All right. I think every teacher should have to go through some type of psychological evaluation before she's even put in front of our children. Is that fair, gentlemen and ladies on the panel?
I'd say so.
Yes.
Yeah, but can we stop acting like the teachers are just females? They're males too, right?
Well, they're mostly females. They're barely
so my point is that we're gonna have psychological evaluations done on all these teachers, these potential teachers that's gonna be in these classrooms, right? So I think during psychological evals, that's when we find out a lot. Hey, in order to be a special forces operator, you get psychological evaluations. You get hooked up to all kinds of stuff, right? All kinds of interviews and all kinds of shit, man. Like, and you kind of cipher and filter out the people that have the potential to be like, oh my God, I'm freaking out because this kid is cussing me out. Let me go grab this pistol and shoot kids. And like, I think we'll weed out a lot of
Wait, but don't police officers Quest, don't police officers get these same psychological evaluations before they become police officers?
I don't know. I can't speak on what cops get.
I think they do have psychological evaluations. I think that's a major part of them getting hired, and it doesn't.
Let me read these super chats. We got quite a bit, so we'll get to the next question, which is still on the same topic because this is a good one. The people love this topic, by the way. So I want everybody here to participate, and we're gonna get to Mr. Square roots. I don't believe you spoke. John the Baptist, $5. Armed teacher and principal sounds needed to me. Mr. Rich, Brother Mike, why do both sides of the gun debate live on the extreme? I don't think I'm extreme. John the Baptist, $2. When you come to the Queen City, make it known. Oh, I will. Quest sound like he will come with me. You gonna do the rifle or the pistol or both? Which one, Quest?
What, back up. Say that again now.
I said no. I'm going on tour. I'm taking basic first. I'm gonna just teach basic because people think they take a basics course, but they ain't took my course yet. You rolling with me or what?
Well, you gonna pay me?
Duh, Nick. Yeah, Quest. Spend your own money and come out.
Hey, let's talk about it.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about it.
Julius Germain, $5. I'll see you 4/16. I do have a class on 4/16 here in the Houston area, and my summer schedule is already up. Go to heatdefensive.com/HFS. Lamar Black Attack, foreign currency, 500. In America, I need a gun. In Japan, I don't. It's not about guns. It's about culture. That is kind of like facts right there. That is kind of facts. Dame Smith, $2. It's about why we pull triggers, not the laws. Facts. Lucky, appreciate that. $5. You have a higher chance of the teacher. Damn, how you get this super chat through? How did this go through? When I try to send one,
by the grace of God.
Look, this is feminism. When a woman it goes through. When I try to send this word, mine don't go through. Banging your child versus shooting them. There's already schools with armed staff, and it's much safer.
Yeah, Lucky, you really lucky.
I just want to make sure they are competent.
I'm trying not to cuss. I'm sorry.
Kingdom Minded, $10. We appreciate that. Black Dragon Speaks Week and Displays Week Leadership. I live in an excellent town. My husband leaves nothing to chance. I homeschool. One will meet guaranteed opposition at my school or home. Well, he's from California. You know, they're very liberal. Wait, you from California, right?
I'm from Texas. I'm from San Antonio.
Oh, okay. I thought you said.
But I did live and grow up in Japan. So he's right about that. You don't need a gun there.
All right, bet. $5. John the Baptist. Hey, Mike, I dropped down. I feel Quest should speak more on this subject, and he will. AL, $5. Depending on the environment, those kids would take the gun from the teacher in certain situations. That's potentially dangerous from everyone. I've heard that rebuttal a lot. Certainly at my high school, there's a lot of knuckleheads.
Did you ever hear
a lot of knuckleheads?
East Side High with Joe Clark?
Oh boy, no.
Yeah, lean on me. Yeah.
Every school. Look. Can you imagine the governor coming up here? We shall arm our teachers, except you Negro, except you Negro school. Y'all fight too much. No, thank you. Bob, $5. Would this discussion be different if we had more male teachers? Bob, absolutely it would. Absolutely it would. The next question actually speaks to this. Bob, again, put a small police station in the school. And listen. Well, I'm gonna speak to it after I'm done with the super chat. $20 super sticker from John the Baptist. We appreciate that. John the Baptist, $5 again, said this is the problem with YouTube. Quest has more experience in tactical training. Everybody is arguing with an expert.
Wait, can I speak to that? Wait, listen.
I'm an expert too.
Respect to Quest and his expertise, right? That really doesn't have a lot to do with opinions about parents that have students in school and teachers, right? This is a conversation about students and teachers and what you want the teachers that teach your students to have a firearm in the school. So that's not so much of a tactical persuasion or ideal, is more of a human, element to this.
I think the answer is more men. I think more men in teachers. I think if we had,
I was like, you're getting into the space of the next.
No. What I'm saying is, but I'm saying if we had more male teachers, who would want to rumble? Someone would have to think twice before pulling the trigger.
Exactly.
If we had more male teachers, starting a fight.
The honest truth is that men anywhere in these situations would stop it. The people would not even come to the school. I'm just going to be honest. Men are a force multiplier in any situation. Remember I said schools are targets for a reason. The reason people are targeting schools is because there are a bunch of women there who will scream and all, and
assault target.
Women and children.
It's men will literally sacrifice themselves to take a gunman down. So you better be able to shoot 6 people running straight at you in under a few amount of seconds, because they'll take you down eventually, right? You might get 1, you might get 2, but they're going to run out and deal with you if there were a bunch of men in the school, which would be a deterrent to the thing happening. So
it's innate in us to
exactly
protect.
And especially when kids are involved, that's when it activates, right, the most. So we got to understand the worst part about this is that we're not going to see more teachers because men are now retreating from college. If college is still a requirement to become a teacher, you will not see any male teachers for generations.
That's a fact.
Unless they want to soften that regulation or that requirement.
Increase the pay.
Exactly.
It'll increase the pay. They'll increase.
Why can't we just increase school grants and get more men into the teaching field?
Exactly.
Unfortunately, someone made a good point. Trigger Mike.
Hold on. There are other ways, y'all. We can't neglect what needs to happen. That is a generational change. Schools are broke, like Chris said. So more money for anything, especially male teachers, because I ain't coming back 125. I'll think about it.
Someone made a good point, because a lot of there's male teachers in the schools around here, but unfortunately they are not of the heterosexual persuasion, and I'm very uncomfortable with that personally. I think that it should be more heterosexual male teachers in the school.
Israel. I never knew that to be an issue.
Wait.
I think
One mic.
How's Mill? Hey, fellas, I just want to say I gotta go. Gun violence. Trigger Mike, I just want to say I gotta go, man. My little man.
No doubt, I'll get you.
Hey, nice to meeting you, Quest.
Hey, nice to meet you too.
Thank you for your
nice to meet you, Quest.
Appreciate
Thank you so much, Quest.
Everybody. All right, take care.
Well, how's male teachers going to stop the gun violence?
Well, they would deter, like Trigger Mike is famous. Wait.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, y'all, Mr. Rich. It is absolutely a deterrent. So when we look at school, it's a deterrent. It is a deterrent.
No, it's not.
Men are a deterrent. Okay, hold on. Why do you think somebody is so? Why do you think most people or schools are a target in general?
Because we got crazy gunmen with guns coming into school. You think they care if it's a man who's a teacher?
Schools are soft targets.
There have not been as many mass shootings full of men where the men are.
Classroom. If I have an automatic weapon, I'm gonna shoot. I'm not dead. These guys
you know what?
Let me just say this. I'm gonna shut up because everybody seems to be right. Let me just say this, Mike.
Yeah.
If these guys are not going up face to face like they're in hand-to-hand combat. They're shooting people from a distance with automatic weapons.
They're walking.
That's what happened.
Hold on, y'all. Not only are men a force, so we're actually arguing the wrong point. Not only are men a force multiplier in the occurrence of that happening, it's probably not going to happen if anyway with men in the school. Even if half the teachers were men teaching those kids, you wouldn't have as many maladjusted kids that will end up becoming school shooters. So we got to start talking about that part first. So that is actually what would happen. The occurrence of mass shootings wouldn't happen if half the teachers were male, right? So that's the same thing we see about children in the home without a father, right? It's the lack of masculine, literally in your head. Can you not think of what you didn't do when males were in school, or at least the prevalence of
absolutely, Mike.
They in Louisiana. And this is actually what the next question is about. They got fathers who worked nights, I believe, to get off work and come to the school for the first bells because they were averaging 14 fights a day. They averaged 0. Those fathers didn't talk. They weren't allowed to talk to the kid. They stood there. Everybody just took their ass to class. Even the white kids. They interviewed the white kid. He was like, "Well, I just saw him and I figured,
all the kids started acting right.
Yep. I just saw him. The presence of men does that to children.
Yeah. I know. Listen. Okay. You. But this one assumption and presupposition that you're leaving out. Okay. Because for regular kids who are, or most of them are, I can see that being deterrent. These people who are shooting up the schools are off the rails. They're not just these kids who are going to be influenced by some
But
guy.
But usually they have connects, right? Usually, wait, well, hold on. Usually, hold on, real quick. Usually these people that are doing these mass shootings have connections to the school, and they are well aware of the inner workings of the school and the people that they are targeting in the schools.
Right.
And generally speaking, they're doing it like the brother is saying because they're soft targets. They're easy targets. So what happens is this: when men are around, not only can men be able to think in those type of situations more than likely, you know what I'm saying? Now it's not guaranteed that everybody's going to make it, but it's going to be more of a deterrent. It's going to be more of that preventative measure that we was talking about, and more likely to not occur.
So if we have better students and better kids, the chances are we're going to have less.
Exactly. I was like, when men are around, it's a prevention. When men are around, it's a preventative measure. But what will also actually happen if there were more men in the school? Men mobilize almost naturally. When kids are present, women actually do in the school exactly what they would do in any situation. They will run to guard the children. Men will mobilize to neutralize the threat. It's literally what's going to happen naturally. Once a man sees a woman throw herself over children, you're not going to throw it can't be two people throwing themselves over the children. Somebody got to go hunt.
Once we hear the alarm pull, you know what we about to do.
You know what though? Let me just, Mr. Payne. Wait, Mr. Payne. If there are more men in school, that means for every man that is in that school, one of that motherfucker can take the gunman out. Just one. It doesn't take an army. Just one.
But it took a SWAT team to take this one out. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying that. Well, that's SWAT. We're talking about men in school. We're talking about preventing men.
I'm going to reiterate. I'm going
to respond to Christopher. Christopher just made a comment. He said, Christopher said, this is what Christopher said. Africa Mike, is it okay if I respond to him, or you want to, or you want him to talk?
Go ahead.
Okay, Christopher said he's going to take something about that. It took snipers time to take out the
SWAT team.
It took SWAT team time. The difference between SWAT teams and a regular citizen that is a man is going through protocol. SWAT team has to listen to command, has to obey command, has to be told when to shoot and when not to shoot. A father is not thinking, he's not going to listen to that. He's going straight in. Even if he's going to take his life, he'd rather dying with that gunman than to be listening to somebody telling him what to do. That's what I think that is the difference between a SWAT team and a regular citizen.
So, guys, we have to remember that this is a multi-tiered problem, right? There's not one only solution. So, right now, what we're talking about is in the act of. And the reason why male presence is important is because, one, it's going to severely lower the likelihood of a mass shooter targeting the building. And in the case that this mass shooter does enter the building, there's at least more men willing to try to stop the shooter in the act, right? Then you have to take a step back from that. And now we're talking about culture. Right now, we're talking about men in the village. This all roots back to men being present in the village, in the household, everything like that. Then we have to talk about the overall American culture, which is that black rifle culture, which we have a lot of kids who do not know how to cope with adversity, rejection. They come from very bad households, single parent households. Like, this is a multi-tiered system. And so right now we're starting with the bottom of in the act, but we still need to start looking big picture in the moment, guys. I just wanted to be clear about that.
All right, bet. Let's get to this next question at the bottom, and anybody can answer first if you like. What would happen? So we got to start learning. We got to use men wisely, especially. This is where I'm gonna say this is where the Asian people and the small hats. This is where they excel. Stop waiting for legislation all the damn time. Okay, you can't wait for it. That shit is slow. The slowest thing on earth is the U.S. enacting any kind of legislation. They just now realizing that child support needs to be revamped. That just got their attention after dudes are deleting themselves over not seeing their kids, right? So don't wait on legislation. So what would happen if 5 or more fathers volunteered 1 day a week to patrol every school in the U.S.? As I told you, they did that in Louisiana. They asked fathers to just come. So as long as
You
they can
put
come and establish them being there all day. Don't talk to the students. Don't really interact with them unless it's your child. Just be there, be present, and no zero fights. They average 14 a day. They went down to 0. All right. So what do y'all think will happen? What are
well,
some
here's
more?
we're talking about school shootings. You're literally putting a band-aid over a bullet hole. That's not going to help. Now you want to say stop actual physical altercations? Okay, that's fine. But to this extreme measure, unless they're going to be armed themselves, no, that's not going to help.
One thing usually leads to another. I
So I
mean,
was gonna say, Chris, do you don't think that a culture shift in the school in general by having the presence of males will eventually lead to less, catastrophic occurrences like mass shootings? You don't think those two things are correlated?
No. I think no. Let me rephrase that. I guess I'm just speaking to a prisoner of the moment. So that's probably what my response is. But in the long haul, yes, male presence always makes things better, particularly when children are involved. You're absolutely right.
All right,
Hey,
anybody
I feel
else?
where you're coming from, Chris, man. It's complicated. This sucks because think about it, guys. Our kids are taking active shooter drills. It used to just be tornado and fire drills that we had to worry about.
or
Active
earthquake
shooter,
or something.
yeah, like dang, man.
No. If it, I say this. I mean, I speak in. I have to look forward to the result, right? I sometimes don't explain the cause and effect. I go to the result, right? So when we're talking about preventative measures, like Mr. Ikene was explaining, and like Trigger Mike was explaining, I think men are pretty much going to be the answer to this particular problem. We have to sacrifice our time and make sure that we're there in the school. Not only do I think it's going to solve the problem with violence occurring or school shootings occurring, but then we solve the epidemic of having children who just don't grow up without fathers or positive male role models in their life. I mean, there's that too. I mean, it'd be nice to have a couple men that are in the school who give a damn about your safety all day. I mean, think about the kind of woman that gets raised out of there. Hey, I've been in an environment all night where I have grown men who look after me and will die for me and fight for me, and they don't say anything, they don't do anything. They're just here. I mean, it'd be nice to raise women in that, like little girls into women in that culture now, and then you would think that these women would probably be far more submissive.
If you look at it this way, right? Just put it this way. Your mom is at home and she's doing laundry or doing whatever. You're going to see the kids are crazy that moment. They're running around, throwing things, being disruptive. But as soon as their dad, I'm not talking about this player for dad that want to make their kids their friends. I'm not talking about those kind of dads. I'm talking about straight up dads. As soon as the dad steps into the house, you see everybody's quiet.
We're not going around the horn.
This one is actually free for all. You can go ahead next, Mr.
Okay. No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Kine. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
So
I just thought we were going around the horn. But if you're not finished, go ahead.
Okay.
Two of the most
So
long-winded dudes talking about they sorry.
So that's the kind of order that the parents bring. So having a parent in the school, to me, once a week matters a lot, because what it does is that even for the kids that don't have parents, it might be the first time they see a male figure with authority. And then they get to see that every Friday or every Wednesday. Now they start seeing what a figure father brings. The thing is this: if we that have dads growing up don't really know the value of not having a father, maybe that's one of the things. You see what I'm saying? Because if you ever grew with a father, you might not take your dad serious, but if you ever grew without a father, then you'll know the seriousness of having a father.
I think every man on this panel would agree that men make a difference, but it's not going to stop an active shooter. It's just not.
Right, but just like seatbelts aren't going to prevent all this, it lowers the chance.
You can say what you're going to say. Let me finish and have my little say, okay? Listen, I'm not against having male presence. I agree with that, but it's not going to stop what's going on. These people are already off the rails. A man could take a bullet just like everybody else. So I'm just saying, I just think the best thought is for us to spend the money and have professional security guards in all the schools, and so I concede this, put more male presence in there until we get to a place of equilibrium. But because you could just put all the men in there as you want to, that doesn't stop people from being victims when men are around. It just doesn't. It's a Band-Aid. It's not a fix. You're talking about a cultural shift of hiring men to be teachers, hiring men to be there. We're talking about years. We're not talking about just throwing out a warrant order and all of a sudden everybody's going to come in and male going to volunteer in 150,000 schools. It's bullshit, right? The federal government, in one stroke of a freaking pen, just like they put 100,000 cops on the street to put black men in jail, they could put a legislation out and put money behind hiring 100,000 security officers for schools. They could do that.
But if you keep saying it's going to take a while, guys, the longer we wait, the longer it takes. You have to start.
And all these security and all the shootings, a security officer was there. The security officer was there.
They can do that in this Congress right now. That's faster than getting male volunteers to go to 150,000 schools.
There were security officers there. There are shootings happening where security officers are there.
One or two.
It's not one or two. It's not one or two.
Hold on, let me respond to Enter the Dragon. Let's say there's a security officer there. I'll take your word for it. And how many bodies were there? How many bodies?
God, we have one that's over 30. We have another that's over 20. Which school? Parkland, Newtown? Which one?
I'm glad you said that because you're not listening. Hold on. I'm glad you said that because there was no security officers, or worse, no police officers. The body count would have been more. So trust me when I say having security there is some form of deterrent, and it could prevent from measures from being
hasn't stopped one school shooting.
No, you're not.
He's talking about the amount.
Has it? Wait a minute. Can you at least concede the point that we've had security officers for years at schools, and it has not stopped a single school?
And you so a bunch of hard-leg men in the school is going to stop.
I got it. Okay, Enter the Dragon. We have police officers in this world. Has that stopped the crime?
No, it hasn't.
Yes or no? Thank you. So there's always going on, please, I'm talking. So there's always going to be crime. There's always going to be bad guys. What do? You need a response team to minimize the problem. So with all the bodies that dropped from this Nashville shooting, it would have been more if there was no police officers. It would have been more if there was no security officers. A lot more if there was no SWAT team.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Bad guys are going to exist.
So
the question is, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
You're going to save as many people as you can versus sit on your hands and do absolutely nothing. Trust me, I'm in that field. I know firsthand.
I agree. But my answer isn't to do nothing. My answer is security isn't going to prevent it because we've had security for years. But what we haven't had for years, wait a minute. What we have not had for years is a strong male presence in these schools.
There's a thing though. Like there are some men that are willing to go to the schools, right, and volunteer. But then they're gonna have other men that are gonna be like, wait a minute. Not only am I putting my life on the line on a consistent basis, protecting my own children, but now you're requesting for me to go ahead and put my life on the line for other children that I do not know. And where's their fathers at? Where are they? You get what I mean? Like that's how some men are gonna take it as. Like,
but they said every other Friday, right? Remember, they said every Friday, meaning that it's going to be rotational, right?
Hey, the problem is that our culture is very hypocritical when it comes to family. For example, we talk about how important it is for male fathers, and yet our labor market demands that we work 60, 80-hour work weeks. So how are men supposed to be doing this if we're at
Good
work all
point.
the time? You know what I mean? So
Yes,
it's complicated.
But not every man has a job, right? I
it's
mean, we're
very
talking about
complicated.
a job. You know, we're talking about a job though, protecting
yeah,
and monitoring
but
the schools. I
I
mean,
think
what better protection can you offer than
I
a
think
than
it's
a
I think
father?
it's more doable if you just have like I said, like this area over here, they have the police officers really involved in the communities, man, and with the families where they actually support fathers and mothers and so forth, and the whole nine, but they're still integrated where you get to know one another, the children get to know them, and the whole nine. I think that's much a better idea than having just, let's say, 5 fathers and then just going around and rotating in the school once a day or once a week or the whole nine, because it's like, all right, so where's the other fathers at? Why are the other fathers not doing it? It's like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, it doesn't. Like, I
Are those
understand that
fathers
I
armed?
understand that a
Are
man,
those
a man
fathers
figure.
armed? Are those
No,
fathers
no,
armed?
and they will be
No.
on. But the presence of a man, but it's true what Sugar Mike is saying. The presence of a man does kind of lower the risk, right?
Presence of
It
a
doesn't, it
man
doesn't take
stop murder.
it doesn't take away the
That's
risk.
murder.
It just lowers the risks. But still, it's just kind of complicated.
Mr. Payne, I don't think we are talking about fathers coming there to deter crime. What we're talking about is fathers coming there to instill fear in
I
the
agree with
students,
that. I agree
discipline
with
in
that.
the
That's not
students.
going to
Yeah.
stop somebody who went crazy.
We're
It's
talking
just
about
No,
lowering the
no,
chances.
Wait a minute.
no.
Can I ask a
Go
question? Can I ask a question? When you say somebody that went crazy, what are we
Yes.
what are we talking about? Are we just saying
So you're
is that
saying,
what a school shooter is? Someone who
can I
is
say, so
crazy.
you asked me a question. I understand where you're going. Let me just say this. Having the fathers around might have an impact on the general population of schools, but that's not going to stop bullying in some level. It's not going to stop these guys who have access to all this crazy shit on the internet. It's not going to do it when they go home. It's not going to stop them from having manifestos or have some kind of inclination that they've been wronged. Maybe it's less, maybe it's not, but it's an experiment, and we don't have time for that kind of experiment, right? And then it just takes one crazy guy. He ain't carrying some big hard leg. Is in the school. He'll shoot his ass too from a distance. What are we talking about?
Can I
We need
interject?
to have, if we want to stop school shootings to protect our children, we got to have real security that can shoot back, that's trained, and we got to pay for that. And it's as simple as that. Everything else is just talk.
Can I interject?
I'm not saying we shouldn't have more men, but we should still have security.
That school shooter who was in that school, who was bullied. I mean, if more men were around, maybe he wouldn't be bullied. And instead of going at home to write a manifesto, maybe he'd have a man to talk to about his problems and issues.
Yeah.
So now men are saying, now men are on the what? Listen, I'm trying to tell you, to be able to, if you have children, I have children, right? And I had children. They're all grown now. But one of the things about parenting is that you have to be in the right place at the right time to catch the kid when they need you the most. And that's why you need men in the house.
That's
right?
right.
Because sometimes your best teaching is through serendipity because of the situation. So you're going to put 5 guys in a school or whatever and expect them to catch a kid that's going wayward because they're just there.
If you stop bullying, if you stop, wait a minute, the school shooter is most likely someone who was bullied in the school. If men were in the school to break up the bullshit, you wouldn't have a fucking school. Do the math.
I think both of you went off rail. The reason why you went, I think you went off rail. They didn't remember when Lucas was talking. He said that the parents are not allowed to interact with the students. So you're not there to prevent a bully. You're just showing a male presence. If you're trying to prevent a bully, that's a big mistake. Because if a bully's dad is there, his dad might be part of the bully too. Now you starting a fight.
So that is kind of extreme. I would think that
most kids that are bullies come from bully household.
Right.
You got to know that. So if the guy is bullying a child and you trying to stop him from bullying the child and his dad is there and he knows his dad is a bully too,
Okay.
That is why, according to Rukos, he said the parents are not allowed to communicate or interact with kids that are not their own child.
Mm-hmm.
I got one. I'm gonna shut up.
Go ahead.
Why don't we tax guns to pay for the security in those schools? Why don't we tax
That's
the
a
guns?
decent idea.
How about you
No,
keep
it's not.
that opinion? I'm in support
Yeah,
of that.
no, hell no.
You in my business now.
Hell no.
How about you keep that?
Hell no.
It's just like how they
no.
tax marijuana
They
in
tax
order
everything
to
else
tax
now.
marijuana and it
I
helps pay
seriously
for
think
infrastructure.
men
can
are
send all
going to
this
be the
money.
solution to this problem. We
He
just
lives in a
are.
communist state that don't let them have guns. That's why he
you can send
that's
all
why he
this
wants
money.
to tax guns.
You can send all this money overseas, but you can't put, all these funds in actually bettering your communities and education for these children, and paying $500 million to a person to hit a baseball, and then having a police officer making $45K a year when he's putting his life on. Like, it makes no freaking sense.
Hey,
man.
all of our ideas sound way better than what's going on right
It's
now.
kind of hard to hit a baseball.
That's true.
Man.
That's
Except for
it
the
is
tax.
really hard.
Hey,
It's one
bye,
of the
Chris.
hardest things to
Nice
do.
meeting
It's
you.
one of
Hard
the
to hit a
hardest things to
baseball.
do.
All right, fellas,
It is one of the hardest
we
things to do, but it's
literally
not worth $500 million, dude.
we have literally killed the gun topic. We had other topics,
Oh,
So,
all right. Hey,
the simp.
I'm gonna head out, guys. Nice meeting you guys.
All
right.
Good
All
seeing
right,
you,
man.
brother.
Salute to you,
You're
fellas.
welcome anytime, man.
All
So
right.
the main topic was why simps are dangerous, bro.
No,
God
but
dang,
this gun was
we
a good
beat this
topic,
gun
though.
topic all the way to the end.
Yeah, it was a good
crazy.
topic,
You know,
though. It was a good topic.
I've been said it.
This is actually King Sparks' favorite topic because he coined the phrase on the Trigger Mike show, "simp with an iron fist." So we know this is his favorite topic.
That's right.
Trigger Mike.
That's
Trigger
right.
Mike. I've been preaching this. I said there's never been a war against men versus women. There's always been a war against men versus weak men. That's always been the war.
Yeah.
And this weekend proved it. I can't even remember what the hell somebody did, but I was so taken aback. Like, did you just say that? Like, you don't take a stance against other men. I think men need to understand, like, it's no point for you to ever take the side of women. You go to the man. You have an obligation to other men, right? To pick your brother up and say, you know what? You kind of doing some crazy stuff right now. I'm gonna help you take care of your family, right? I'm not gonna help a woman isolate you out your family. It was something dealing with that, man. I'm telling you. But
I have never seen men simp like just parley things that happen. That's where I saw a lot of men simped, and I was pissed.
So
let's define simple, man. Let's decide.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Did these dudes out here on YouTube simp for just Pearly? It's so many content creators. Because people would hit me up. It was my son's birthday weekend. I won't responding or making a video to nothing. I'm not even that big in this space.
I made a video for it.
But the big dudes, like, they now getting in the spats with
I'd
each other.
like to answer.
Hang on, let the lady go first. Let the lady
We're
go
gonna
first.
let Lucky go first, and then I want the woman's perspective on this.
Oh, I meant like the last question, but
yeah, go ahead.
fine.
Anything you can
I didn't really hear anybody mention.
say again.
Okay. I thought he was gonna talk. I don't think that fathers should volunteer to protect the schools in a way by physically doing something. I think it's you putting yourself at risk, and you may have a family at home. You're not a police officer. So I think it's smart to put your money together, maybe come up with a monthly budget. If your kid goes to that school and you want to get together with other fathers at the school financially to pay officers or off-duty cops or something like that are trained to do that, because they know what to look for. They understand body language. And sometimes when you're a father, you're too close to the situation. So you may start to empathize with the fact that this is actually a teenager with a gun, to the point where you're trying to negotiate longer than you should, and you end up getting shot. So I think if you have a family and that's not your profession, you shouldn't take that position. I think you should financially support the schools and put money into the schools so that they can hire people who are professionally going to do that.
Well, I kind of disagree, Lucky. Well, not fundamentally. That'd be great. Anytime you talk about, so let's talk about schools. Only in affluent neighborhoods would that ever work. If you're talking about the inner city, fathers aren't even present to give money, right? Then you move into lower income neighborhoods, say give money, nobody's coming to that meeting. I mean, if you,
So yeah, we understand.
Man,
like,
all y'all simping right now for not even telling Lucky that she was off topic. All y'all gonna let her go back to
nah,
talking
shut up.
about
She
the
answered the
school.
Trigger
previous
Mike
topic.
is telling her that she's off
So
topic.
what
She's
I'm
off topic.
and what I'm talking about with the males, it's not about them. So even the ones that did it in Louisiana, they said they're not allowed to talk to the kids. They are basically there, like men standing there, have an effect on the children. And the question said, let me put it back up. Patrol, literally walk on the outside and the inside of the school without interacting with anybody. Right? Patrol, y'all talk to each other. You see what I'm saying? Don't put hands on anybody, kid, and that has an effect. It's been proven. So what do you think about that? Not because once you tell me, it's, especially me, I live in one of these neighborhoods where the school tax is extremely high, but it represents in a school curriculum, right? The average high school GPA in my subdivision is 4.0. It's 4.0. The kids that go to A&M and UT, these kids got to have like 4.5, right? So this is, they tax me a lot. Ask me for another dollar, you ain't getting shit. You know what I mean? And that's most.
I still think you should be a professional, personally. But I understand like certain neighborhoods don't financially have the have the financial backing to support the schools. That's why they lack. Some of them don't have lunches, different things like that. So there's a lot of issues, and also people. I mean, just think about these streams. People send $500 just to comment, like it's nothing. If those people commonly spent that money towards schools, maybe they would have the funding to put towards something like what we're talking about instead of, you know what I'm saying, spending your money on something that's not important.
Yeah, I just think realistically, man, people don't have money. That's the one. Like every single. So this is what I meant when we said even the takeaway guns argument. Everything involves more money, which you will not get. That's why nothing ever moves. You can't find the money in title funding. The government doesn't want to fund it, state, local, or federal. Money is depleted. Now it got to come back down to the people. This is why I made reference to the Asians and the small hats. They don't need any extra money to make a community impact. And we, an intelligent group of people, white, black, brown, otherwise, we have to start coming up with solutions that don't involve extra money to help our children. I promise you it's possible.
The thing too,
I'll
Sugar
leave
Mike,
it alone
just
because I
just a
realize
just a
people want to
small
go to the
pushback,
next topic.
just a small pushback on that before we go to the next topic, bro. They print money out of thin air. They print money for whatever hell it is that they feel like it, and whatever they don't feel like it, they don't even fund anything. Money is just paper that they print like out of thin air.
Well, it's not just paper; it devalues the power of the dollar.
No, it does, but I mean that they only fund what they actually give a damn about, and only if it hits their certain demographics or neighborhoods, that's when it matters. But when it hits other people's demographics or neighborhoods, they really don't give a damn about it because it's always been a class war. It's always been that.
It is. Yeah, I agree. It is a class war, 100%.
So we have to think about different ways, like how you said, different ways how to kind of mitigate those risks without trying to go ahead and beg for more, because we at the end of the day we know those things are going to take years for things to pass by, years, and
So
we
let's
don't have
talk
years.
about Simps.
All right, so go ahead, Mr. Rich. You can go get in there
Now,
first.
why don't we let
What
Lucky
is
talk about the Simp? She's on there, right? I'll go after her.
No, she wanted. Lucky, did you want to speak on this, or you wanted the last topic?
I could speak on it.
Oh, please. What is your definition of simp?
I guess a guy who's more in touch with his feminine side.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, yes, girl.
More in touch with his feminine side. Explain. Elaborate a little more, because in 2023 that actually has a few meanings.
Is this why we can't never ask women really for real anything? Is this why?
Let her go, man.
God is in touch with his feminine side. Please.
I gotta say something. You remember that King Spark was saying something about, oh, you guys don't want to do this. You guys just simping to her. King Spark, men don't simp to women. But what happened is this. Yeah, she muted. What happened is this, right?
No, I was going to talk about it and want to overtalk you.
The reason why men don't respond to women talking is not because we simp to them or we condescend them. No, it's because when they talk, we have to connect what they said. And sometimes it might take you like 3 to 5 minutes But when we talk as men, we respond in nanoseconds because we understand what we're talking about. That we're not simping to women.
Yo, listen, man, we're blowing the opportunity to get it from a woman's mouth. Let her talk.
Finish your thought, Lucky. Then we're gonna go to
I would say it's a man who really has no backbone. He kind of is always bending to the will of the woman. He doesn't have anything like whatever she wants. He's pretty much not whatever, but but he comes off of his integrity or him as a man to suit her. It's not being a gentleman. I think sometimes we think if you get a girl flowers or stuff, that's a simp. No, it's you simply bending to what you know you need to do as a man for a woman.
See, I told you, she knows. She knows. Good job. She knows.
Thank you.
That's why
I like that. I like
Good
that.
job.
You buttoned it up well.
That's why Lucky got the award right there.
Yeah, salute to you for fixing that, Lucky. Good job.
But the thing I like
that first answer you gave was some bullshit.
So here's the funny thing about here's the funny thing about what you said, Lucky. People misunderstand. So the simp word comes from a general misunderstanding of these words like gentlemen. I've seen women mischaracterize words like gentlemen. A woman put up a meme of a boy tying a girl's shoe, and she had her foot up like tie my shoe, nigga. Like that's the way it looked, and talk about what a gentleman. That ain't gentlemanly. What the hell? That looks like he's catering to her like a servant. That's not gentlemanly. I ain't tying nobody goddamn shoe. I'm taller than you. Tie my goddamn shoe. You see, that's not gentlemanly at all. You okay? So
I don't know because do you know them personally or you was just outside?
What I'm saying is it's a picture of him bending down to do something for a woman. When you say the word gentleman, that is not what gentleman. That's a simp picture. That's not a gentleman picture. Yeah, opening the door for a woman with the y'all please go ahead, and it's a mother, grandmother, or helping a woman up or giving her your arm to walk. That is gentleman.
What if he was washing her feet?
That's simp. That in fact, what's worse than simp, y'all? Bitch ass nigga. Is that what?
That's the part where I just
man is not supposed to wash a woman's feet. A woman's supposed to wash a man's feet.
I think there are different words to decide these things. There's simp. There's bitch ass nigga. There's pussy whip. There's like there's overachiever. There's
impact.
That's what all these things. Yeah.
This was the 90s one.
Oh, eat a man.
No, washing feet is a meaning to that in a lot of different belief systems. So that's what I'm saying. We have such a superficial way of looking at certain things that are really a subservient thing to do for men and women in the household. Like if she's washing your feet in certain things, some people pray over that. Sorry, I'm outside. But
is that your real voice or you trying to tame us? Because I'm telling you, we're all docile. The way you talk, that's your real voice or are you trying to tame
We're not all real docile. Just speak for yourself, Mr. Payne. We're not all real docile, sir. Just
okay, I'm sorry for attacking your male.
Lucky, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Do not attack my male proclivity, sir.
Y'all need to rest in y'all masculinity and let the woman talk.
I'm sorry.
Simp.
Let the women finish up so we can move. No, I gotta pee and I need to go.
It's like certain things we tend to just get so that's not this, that's not that, and y'all enjoy things that can simply be fun. Like on the panel, we was talking about don't eat ice cream, don't eat. It's like chill, ain't nothing attacking your masculinity. You're not about to just become submissive because you want to caress your woman and be sensual by rubbing on her or rubbing on her feet. We looking at women fawn over men who give these sensual massages. How about you learn how to do that too? Like y'all,
you know what?
I saw that video. That was nice.
You're in a way, you're right. Like I said, every man has a degree of simp in there, and it can come out for your woman. It's the way you display these things in public that will determine. It's like an intensity scale. What I do for my woman in the privacy of our home is nobody goddamn business. But to be coming out here and be like, you need to rub your woman's feet or you ain't a real man. That's a fucking simp.
That's so funny.
That's a simp.
That's pretty funny. That's a great example. Let's go.
That's horrible. What's some more examples, Mike? What more examples? We got some more examples of simp.
All right, y'all go around. I got
that is horrible. Mike, that was a horrible example. You should never do that ever again in your life to talk about a person's a simp for rubbing their wife's feet. I want to define
just said E-Man, I just said do whatever you want. You can rub your wife's feet. You can do whatever you want. It's how you present these things in public, saying that other men are not real men for not doing such.
I mean, it's a lot of situations. You see men, they be holding stuff for their woman's dress, all kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah. Do it.
Open the
Do
door.
whatever it is that you want.
You know what? I made it a rule. I made it a rule not to hold my woman's purse anymore. I'm like, look,
you should never
hold a woman's purse.
Never in life do you hold a woman's purse.
Never hold a woman's purse.
If you go to the bathroom, hey, look, I ain't holding it. They have
let's go around.
the back of the door.
All right, Israel, you next. We're gonna go from the bottom, and then Mr. Rich, then E-Man. I'll be right back.
What's the question? What's a simp?
What is a simp?
Yeah, some simp moves.
I think her second answer was the perfect description of a simp. A simp is a dude that does whatever a woman wants him to do, whenever a woman wants him to do it for the love and the sake and the pedestalization of a woman. That's what a simp is to me.
Okay, Mr. Rich, sir.
Yeah, you know what? You know, it's funny. Everybody's gonna go around. We had a perfect example over the pearly things on Simps on both sides. We have, I'm not gonna get too much into it because the way the manosphere reacted to one white 26-year-old woman who said something stupid is disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful, and we all have to take a hit for that. But
which response?
Wait, let me go ahead. Say what you gonna say.
I'm saying which response? Like they reacted. They were.
No. I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
Two sides of the response. The people who want to forgive her for whatever reason, and then how all the B-dubs came after her, right? But they never went after Cynthia G like that, which makes me mad. But all the black men on both sides who seemingly simp for Pearly, and who are seemingly simping for all the female content creators who I all love. I give money to each one of them. I know I do. But they don't have no fucking business in how we react. This is the manosphere. You're here by the grace of what we do. And where we're going, you can participate, but you don't fucking determine how we move forward. And if we acquiesce that to any black woman, then we deserve what we get. And I don't give a shit whether you like Pearl or not. We should move regardless of that chick. And so the simps on both sides of that goddamn thing, to her and to the B-dub content, I don't think anybody should have apologized. I think we should move forward, because if one white woman could say one line and the whole manifest gets destructed because of that, we deserve to die. That's what I think. We should just keep moving, because that's how they broke up the Black Panthers. That's how they broke up every black movement. They sent the white woman, and everybody went fucking crazy.
Wait, who was the white woman in the Black Panthers? When did this happen?
They sent somebody to disrupt them, put one chapter against another, and it happened.
Oh, but it wasn't right?
I didn't hear that. I'm not saying she did that, but this was just happenstance. The whole manosphere went crazy because of one fucking chick. I think there's simps on both sides. I put something together on my page. My thumbnail was pretty good, by the way. I gotta say that. I thought it was decent. I don't give a shit what nobody said. I don't care if you listen to my shit or not. Look at my
video. Come check you out.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna leave it on here. I think simps. I think anybody, a man who acquiesces in any way to what a woman wants you to do, is a goddamn simp.
All right, that's interesting. But listen, right. I'm gonna check out your page though.
Email. Sure. Yes. Like, okay, first of all, y'all don't know the definition of a YouTube simp. I'm about to explain it to you.
So we said no damn YouTube simp. We said a simp period.
No, a YouTube simp.
What you mean a YouTube simp?
We gotta hear this. I want to hear this.
If you be quiet long enough, you can hear. I know it. I just trigger y'all when I start talking, but I'm gonna explain it to you. I know I'm gonna explain it to you. YouTubers, when they use the word simp, what they mean by the word simp, anybody that do not agree with my talking point, that's who they call simps. If you don't agree with the YouTuber talking points, they automatically call you a simp. It have nothing to do with women. It have nothing. It's almost about if you're not a part of my echo chamber, you are a simp. If you think on your own, if you're the type of person that have their own type of mindset, most YouTubers, 95% are going to call you a simp. So when we define this, when we use it in the YouTube space, when people use the word simp, the one thing that they're calling is somebody who is disagreeable to their talking points and not painting their opinion. That's what a
All
simp
right.
is.
Bro,
All right.
I'm gonna go for a definition of real world where I
Okay.
live at.
All right, bro. I'll go after you, King
It's
Spark.
gonna
Yeah.
be a dude that be paying for shit for a woman that he's not romantically involved in, and has no chance to be romantically involved with that woman.
Right.
And then
Okay.
what say you?
All right,
No,
Ruckus.
what I'm gonna say is, bro, I'm a simpity simp, bro. I open the door for my wife. I pull out the chair for my wife.
Good.
You know, I buy her some roses occasionally, at
You
least like
can't. That's
once
not
every
simp.
3.5 weeks. You
JC,
know,
that's
just to
not
kind
simp
of,
for your wife.
you
You
know what
can't
I
simp
mean?
for your
I
wife.
call
You
her
can't
baby.
simp for your wife, brother.
I call her baby. I don't even call her by her real name. I call her baby. I call her mi reina, my queen. Bro, I'm a simpity simp for my wife.
That's not a good
You know
example.
what I
You
mean?
can't simp
You
for
know
That's
what
your
I
not a
wife.
mean?
simp, JC.
Okay, but let him.
That's your wife.
Okay,
That's not
Okay,
a
all
okay,
right.
simp.
but
That's
that's
not
how. But
simp.
wait. That's how
No,
he
but wait,
defined it for yourself, though, right?
but
For your wife.
no,
I mean,
no,
for
no,
you
no,
sent for
no.
your
I
wife.
was just no, I was just joking.
I know what you mean, though.
But no, I was like personally, I was just joking. I know that's not being a simp,
Right.
but the thing is that you will have a lot of people on these spaces that will actually consider that simpish behavior, right? They think that actually being a douchebag to your wife or to your lady, that's actually very manly. You know what I mean? Don't talk to her. You should only maybe have maybe 20 conversations in a whole 24-hour day with your wife. And if you pass 25 minutes, then you're a simp because you're spending too much time with your woman. Like, bro, like it's kind of like, come on, bro. Like let's get real here. But I agree with King Spark and what Lucky was saying. So I think it's just a man that's um pretty much just giving everything to a woman and is not being reciprocated back at all, has no type of benefit whatsoever, and he's just putting himself in a losing position. But that's my definition.
Hey Ruckus,
Okay.
I think you can
Am I
simp
am
for
I
your
going
wife
next?
though.
But yeah,
Yeah, let me
Mr.
say
Huh?
this
Ine.
one
Yeah,
thing. Let me
yeah.
say this one thing, Inkman.
Yeah.
I think you can sit for your woman in that regard when you talking about. I'm not gonna say actual number of conversations, right? But you know how your woman, you'll take her to breakfast or whatever.
Yeah.
You'll talk to her the whole way, whatever. Then as soon as you get to work, she'll call you. Then a little bit after that, she'll text you. Then she'll call you. Sometimes you gotta be like, "Hey, motherfucker, I love the shit out your ass.
You gotta
I'll
ignore
see
a
you
couple of phone
later.
calls. You gotta ignore
Okay,
a couple of phone
I
calls
talk to
agree.
before you
your
text.
ass later.
I agree.
I'll see you all night,
I
day.
agree. I
I'll
had a
talk to
phone
your
call
ass
that lasted
later.
like
I got
I
you.
had a phone call earlier that lasted 10 seconds. I'm like, babe, listen, call me back later. I'm busy at work. And then hung up.
Right,
I had to go
right,
because I was
right.
very busy,
Yeah,
obviously. But
See,
I
so
agree.
many people are
I
so used
agree.
to having such toxic relationships.
Hey man, you got too much money to have your phone sounding like that, man. What's wrong with you, man? Your phone
My,
sounds horrible.
my phone's cutting in and out.
Yeah, man. And
Go
Yeah,
where's
ahead, go ahead and
and
keep going.
where's your bra at? Where's your bra at, even man?
Mr. Ine, what were you gonna say?
Put your
What were you
bra
gonna say
on,
on the
man.
topic?
Yeah.
Hold on, hold on.
I mean, damn,
No,
it's
but
really
before
Real quick. Hang on,
before
Ine. Hang on. Go ahead.
before I say something, I gotta ask. Okay, he already off.
Go
I was
ahead,
gonna
go
ask
ahead.
because
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
he never answered the meaning of a simp. To me, this is the meaning of a simp, which we may have done, we may have been, but this is the meaning to me. If, like most of you said, if you're doing something for a woman that she's not reciprocating back to you, that's a simp. That's true. But also, the most people that simp to me basically are mostly like stepfathers without a child with a woman that they're dealing with. If you are a stepfather and the woman that you're dealing with doesn't have any child for you, you are the biggest simp.
Oh, Eater Man,
Hit
drop
him.
the link for Eater Man to come back. He's talking
Shots
to Eater
fired.
Man.
Shots
Shot,
Hit
fired.
pow,
him.
pow, pow, pow. Bow, 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 bow.
Oh
Where's
my
my sound
God!
effects?
Wait
Why
a
can't I
That
get my
is
sound effects?
wait a
Wait,
minute!
wait.
Hang on, because he said
Hold
that.
on,
He
hold on.
said that with the slow. He said that with the slow African
You gotta
accent.
explain that
He
shit.
said
You
that.
gotta explain
Oh
that
my
shit.
God.
I got a
yeah.
question.
You gotta explain that
Just a
shit.
caveat. Now, how about if the man has kids and then she has a kid, and then what do you think about that?
What if you don't
You
want no
guys
more
are
kids?
that is not as simple because you guys are already into contract. That is contract marriage because you both using each other.
Right.
You see?
Nah.
Yes, you guys are using each other. You're not really in a marriage. You're just trying to use each other. That's what it is.
But
I think it's without
finish
the kids.
explaining
I think
that.
it's about the kids, right? I
What
think
the?
that you can simp to a
What he's
woman
saying,
without kids. I think.
Wait, so if a
but
woman
what
have
he's
kids, that make you a simp?
But no, but I think
If
what
a
Ken is saying, is that like you're being a stepfather to a woman that doesn't want your seed. You're pretty much taking care of
Oh, well, that's
somebody else's seed,
different.
but she doesn't
How
want to
does
give
that
you
happen?
your
She
own
not
seed
old
through
and can't
her.
handle more kids.
Not all the times. Not
whenever
all the
when
times you want another child, man. That's all I'm
Exactly.
saying. Not all the times
if
you
the
want
man
another
Hey,
child.
Trigger
hang
Mike,
on.
can you drop the link for Eater Man?
But if a woman really likes you,
Hey, Trigger
she
Mike, can
is
you drop the
willing
link
to
for
give
Eater
you
Man?
a seed. If a
Right.
woman is really loves you and likes you, she will give you a seed.
But you may not want it, not necessarily.
Yeah, you might
I mean,
not
even
want
in my
it, yeah.
position, like I'm not looking for no more kids.
if the guy
I
said
got mine.
if the guy has his own children, remember what I said.
I got
If
mine.
you have your child or you have your children, and she has a child or children, right? You guys
Oh,
are
okay.
just
Then it's
you guys
cool.
are
Oh,
using
okay.
each other. You're not
Right.
really into
Oh,
marriage.
okay.
You're
Well,
just
that
using
hey,
each other.
fair
What are
state
you
ain't
using
right.
each other for? I'm confused.
Wait.
I don't
Because
know.
she's
Daycare
she's
I don't know
taking
what
care
you're
of
talking
she's
about.
taking care of the kids, and you're providing for the household. That's how
What are
you're
you
using each
using
other.
each other for?
The way you're
If you can't
using
play,
each other.
Peter Man popped up like, what was said?
Yeah, no, Eater Man. Yeah. What if you're a widow? What if she's a widow though?
Okay, the way you both using each other is because you're using her to take care of your kids and her kids, whereby you're providing the financial, she's providing the logistics, which is services. That's use. Okay?
Services?
Yes.
Services, yeah.
Service. Yeah.
Service. Okay.
Because marriage as defined only takes one shape. That is
Right.
reproduction. When marriage is not
Let me get thumbs up,
reproduction,
fellas, in the
yeah.
back.
Okay. Since marriage was created for one purpose first. That's to reproduce and repopulate. That's it. That's the first step of marriage. But if you're not reproducing in that marriage with that person, one of you is using the other one.
Everybody was in on this shit, man. That's funny.
If the man doesn't have kids, the woman is using you.
Right.
But
Yes.
if she produces a child for you, it's not used anymore. That is the biggest simp. Dealing with a woman with kids and she doesn't have any kids for you, and you don't have kids of any. You are simping.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't like your definition.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Then
secondly,
I kind of
I think your definition of simp sucks.
Yeah.
I'll just
And
it's not based on anything.
But wait, it might suck.
Yeah,
It might suck, but is he wrong though?
He's absolutely wrong.
No. By definition, wait. By definition, wait, Israel.
Wait, hold on. EBD.
Go ahead.
Let me finish down with
one
the
mic.
But let me explain what he just said and why it makes sense why we call it a definition of simping, because what we're talking about is a man giving to a woman and not getting a reciprocal thing. So if you're playing stepdaddy to someone else's kids, she's saying I'm done having kids, I'm not going to give you anything. So if it's a marriage, you're giving. She doesn't have to owe you anything.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, guys. Let me finish. Let me finish. Then I'll give you guys a microphone. Okay.
Wait, I don't like
the greatest gift that a man can give a woman is protection and provision. The greatest gift a woman can give a man is a child or children.
It's
And then
submission. No, the greatest gift a woman could give a man is her submission. It is not the kids, because all women cannot have kids.
so let me
All women
so
cannot have
okay,
children.
okay,
Submission is
What
a
are you
requirement.
saying?
It's not a gift.
It's
so
exactly.
let,
What
let
do you
me
mean?
let me also say this real quick, guys. So being a simp, apart from those side, means that let's say you're dealing with a woman that has a boyfriend, but you're hoping for her to one day leave a man for you, and you're still spending money on her. That is a simp.
That's a
That's
bitch
the
ass
idiot.
nigga.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
the idiot.
Yeah,
That's a
That's the
bitch ass
that
idiot.
is a
nigga.
simp.
Hey, yo, can either man? He is
And
talking
then
about you. Can you go, please?
and then another thing again is this, right? And another thing again is this. In real life, a man can serve his wife. I
Could do
don't think
what?
that you. I
Wait, he
don't
could
think
do
that
what?
Can serve his wife.
Serve his wife.
Oh, he
Oh,
said he
serve.
could serve.
Okay,
And he
serve.
said he could salve his wife. I didn't know what the hell that was. He could serve his
uh,
wife.
All right, hurry up.
okay,
Let's
He
finish
take a
up so
long
we can get
time.
somebody else.
okay.
Yeah, it's either
So
man. It's either man.
so a man can serve his wife, but a man doesn't have to be subject to his wife.
Mm. Yeah, I
So
like
you
that.
can be subject to your wife, but you can actually provide. You can actually help your wife to do one or two things in the household, but she cannot tell you what to do. She cannot tell you what to do, but she can ask you to do it. When a woman starts telling you what to do, that is simping for her because she has become very comfortable. That is why she's telling you.
Yeah,
A
she should
man
never be
can tell
telling
a
you what to
woman
do. I agree
what
with
to
that.
do, but a
I
woman
agree with
cannot
you.
Jordan
That
tell
is
a
I agree
woman
with
what
that.
to do.
Yeah,
Jordan's
women
a
should
fool
never
in the
be telling
chat.
you what
Yeah,
to do.
this
I
is
agree with
All
you.
right,
this
either
is
man look like he got smoke. What you got, man?
this is
Because
a
either
good
man, this is
example.
either man's description. Go ahead, either man.
Listen, this is a perfect example that niggas just make up whatever definitions they want to do for words. That's exactly what it is. First of all, you can't this idea that my wife want to communicate with me, she want to communicate on a normal basis. I know a lot of people are used to unhealthy communication where their wife don't like them, but she liked me enough to want to communicate. That's not a form of simping. That's a form of that she enjoyed talking to me. Maybe I'm actually, she might desire to have a conversation with me. So, and then this idea when we start talking about, oh, if you were stepdaddy, that means you are a
Does
simp.
she
No.
desire to tell you what to do, though? Does she desire to tell you what to do? Does she tell you what to do? Yes or no?
So what I was saying before this
Uh
BJ
oh.
ass
Uh oh.
dude
I don't hear an
keep on
answer.
running
I
his
don't
mouth,
hear an answer.
I don't know if he can control himself over there with that fake body he got going on. But
Yo,
listen,
either man, either
That's
man, we
why
can't
your
hear you.
service is going out.
Yo, either man, your
That's why
microphone.
your
I'm lost.
service
What are y'all
sucks.
asking about?
Because the service sucks.
If she don't want him to speak, she gonna mess up his service.
Yep, she'll
Hey,
let him
look,
speak.
man. Somebody donate a super chat so we get him some Teach Hanley, man. That beard connection was awful. And then he was right in
His beard connection was awful too. Oh
he was
my
right
god,
in
his
goddamn
beard
man.
connection is awful
I
too,
feel
and
That
his
beard,
you.
phone
look,
connection.
when you
Oh
light skin and your beard
Lord,
don't connect, that shit is a sin.
damn! Not the
When you
beard
light
and
like
the
that,
phone not connecting. God,
when
You
you
don't
light like that
connect.
and your
You're a
beard don't
simp.
connect, cut that shit off. Go to goatee route.
That's a groove.
If
I
your
don't
beard
know.
don't connect, you a
I
simp.
don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. A
oh
self-help book,
Lord.
an audio book, something.
All
Mr.
right,
AKA, you got
The
free
fellas.
time? I
man
mean,
is
I
in
gotta get my
love.
baby girl. Let's get final thoughts on this topic before we get out of
Man's
here.
in love.
Okay.
All right, final thoughts. Let's start with EBD.
Go
all
ahead.
right. Well, simps are, as a former simp, I'm gonna say I grew out of that crap. I'm gonna say simps ruin modern day masculinity. I think it's a misunderstanding and it's a severe lack of confidence and self-assurance. I think simps don't know who they are as men yet. If they knew who they were as men, they wouldn't be simping at all. They would know how to move correctly in the dating world. So I think simps need help. They need an older mentor who's been through the game that knows what it is and how to play it. So hey, until we get that kind of in order, we'll always have simps out here doing what simps do.
Okay. Bet. JC.
Man, if you have family, man, tell your kids that you love them every night. Never take those moments for granted. Spend time with your kids. Spend time with your wife. Do everything that you can to provide, to protect for them. Sympathy, simp for your wife. No, I'm kidding. But real talk, man. I think we take life for granted. I think we think that tomorrow's promise. We live like tomorrow's promise. I know it happens to me. I get so much security and stuff like that, where it's just like we wake up, we the normal routine, and just instead of actually valuing, the little ones that are around us. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man. Just be about your business, and see, and if you want to see your community change, like try to do something in your community, like get to know people, network with people, go to your local uh, uh police station or city hall, or even the school where your kids are at, and see what you can do in order to implement maybe programs that can better their education system or whatever. It doesn't take money just to go around and talk to people. You might actually meet a lot of people that are very well connected, and they can actually help you out.
Bet. Mr. Ikene, final thoughts.
Yeah, a man has to know his purpose in life, Just like I said, we need to introduce a new world order. A new world order whereby we as Black people have to be disciplined, know how to do business and do it right, know how to make money and be respectful to each other and be what we need to be in order to move forward. Nobody can respect us if we don't know how to coordinate ourselves both in public and in private. And I got to tell you one thing, women do see that a lot. That is why when you come into, I would say, Caucasian families, you see that their women have great respect for their men that earn more. But if you come into a Black family relationship, you see that our women don't really have respect for us as men. And the reason why is because we don't know how to behave both in public and in private. It's nothing bad to simp for your wife to a certain extent, but you have to draw the line as a man to know what to tolerate and what not to tolerate. Lay down the rules and she must follow it, even if she makes more money than you or less money than you. She has to abide by your rules and she has to abide by it. You don't give any inch, because if you give a woman an inch, she's going to ask for a mile or even take a mile. So don't be a simp. Be a masculine man and don't take anything for granted, because they're watching you. They're watching you.
All right.
You know
right.
what?
Are we gonna get another legendary tagline, King Spark?
Nah, I was just about to double down because what Ikene just described, even though I didn't know where he was going with it at first, but what he first just described is simping with an iron fist, especially when you're in a relationship. Do a couple things for your lady. She might tell you to do this. Well, I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. You know what I mean? Then other things you go ahead and you keep like everything Ikene just said. Know where to draw the line. Don't let nobody take advantage of you, even in your own relationship. And then sometimes, like I say, when she calling and shit, be like, man, I'll call you back. Cause then you gonna get all smothered and shit because you talk to her all day. When you get home, she gonna say, well, how was your day? Well, shit, you tell me, we was on the phone all goddamn day. Right? And so basically, like I said, sit with an iron fist and love your hoe.
There you go.
You just say love your hoe,
and then he called her a hoe. Like,
Yeah.
this is
what? What?
I know she's your wife, but that's your hoe. All right, this guy.
She got to be all of it if you want that shit to work.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Go ahead, bro.
I am happy to be here. I want to say I love you all. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it. You guys are beautiful to me.
No, it does not hit the same, bro. It does not hit
No,
the same.
no.
I'm telling you, it does not hit
Do
the
you
same.
want me to go deep?
You got one of
in the
those
accent?
Disney Black
You want me to
Panthers.
go deeper? Wait. Do you want me to go deeper in the accent? I appreciate y'all. You are wonderful to me. You are so beautiful. Thank you so much.
I am still waiting for him to lean in that mic and say, you know what? Fuck you.
No, I love y'all. No, listen. I got mad respect for Brother Ikene because he really did. He was tripping at first, but the second part of what he said was bars. Hands down was bars. So I got nothing but respect for him. I like some of this, half of the stuff he say. Half of the stuff he say be like, yo, and the other half be like, eh. But anyway, all I'm saying is I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate kicking it with y'all. I have fun. I learned a little bit. And I pray we just get better. That's it.
All right, Mr. Rich.
Yeah, man. The only thing I can say is that, you know, the simps that we have, especially in the Black community, are bred, right? So many men are coming from single parent, fatherless households that they're used to acquiescing to women and sign language. They're just weak for that. They could be shamed very easily into doing what a woman wants them to do. And, you know, I think the only thing that happens that through some men, through a transition to manhood, is when they get around other men who can mentor them out of that stupidity, right?
Yep.
And I think one of the things that's happened for Black men is the manosphere. When it's working properly and you listen to the right people, it's a way out. Because you're going to run across somebody who's going to say the right thing for you to start to think, maybe I was looking at this shit the wrong way. Like an angry man, like an Anton, like a few other people can mentor you out of this thing. And this pearly thing, I put it on my thing, is it's an opportunity for us to look at how easily we're on this goddamn fulcrum. Right? That can destroy us with one fucking white girl said one thing, and we have a whole week of bullshit. I mean, that shit should frighten everybody. How could we be so easily manipulated one way or the other? Right? To all the B-dubs who have you could go to every B-dub we know and love. I'm not going to mention any names. Each one of them have a I hate pearly things thing. But I haven't seen one of those. I haven't seen a whole cadre of them come after Cynthia G and her people talking about deleting Black babies. Right? You know, so all I'm just trying to say is we shouldn't follow anybody. We should just keep on our direction, regardless of what the white girl says, regardless of what the B-dub women say, even if we love them, and move in the direction we want to go and build this manosphere. And let me just say a shout out to the Lapeef Network, because there's no fucking way that this the base Lapeef Network should have 500,000 subscribers by now.
Facts.
And that just shows you the lack of male support to what we're doing. This shit should have 500,000, maybe even 1 million subscribers by now.
I subscribe.
So what?
Yep.
I said I subscribe.
No, I don't say we all
Trigger
subscribe.
Mike.
A lot of people,
Trigger
a lot of
Mike.
people not looking
Trigger
for the
Mike.
truth, man.
Please,
You
when
gonna
you
find the
guys are
truth on Lapeef.
done talking, I just want to say something for like 20 seconds about to respond to that pelleting stuff.
Let the last guy go first.
Yeah, let it when you guys finish. Okay?
Real quick.
Yeah, I would say that it's really funny to me how on either side people are jumping. They want to throw a gauntlet instead of holding the person who said something wrong accountable. They want to attack the person who's holding her accountable, or they want to attack and they want to just take up for her. No, every person who do something wrong is wrong. Every person who do something right is right. It don't matter their race. Now, if it's a racial issue, then it makes it that much salt in the wound. And it's very simple. A person is going to use what they want, what they have, or what they have access to get what they want. That's why people who claim to be good people, men and women, have to have strict boundaries because takers have none. And that goes for simps. You're a simp not because you're a good person and you're doing nice stuff for somebody. That don't make you a simp. What makes you a simp is when you're letting that person abuse you or manipulate you, and you're not doing nothing for it. You're not saying, okay, well, I'm cutting you off. You're not saying, well, I want my stuff in return. That's the issue. Doing nice stuff for a woman or a man is admirable, but you're supposed to get something in return. One hand wash the other, both hands wash the face. Respect all that being on the panel today.
Indeed. All right, Mr. Eakin, I got to get out of here. Go ahead with your you said you wanted to say something about Pearly.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm about to say about Palatine is this: when Kanye West said something about the Jewish people, he was destroyed. They all banned him. They took away his money. They made him go from $2 billion to $500 million overnight. When Carl Ivan said, reposted, he didn't say nothing. He reposted something that somebody else said or made. They went for his money. They forced him to apologize. Palatines must never go free like that, even if she's a woman. By allowing somebody to come to our show, and when the person was talking, she either agreed or led him or had the gut not to go after him for what he said about black people. If we black people don't go against people that allow things to be spilled on us on their shows, right, we are in danger. We cannot allow somebody to say something about us without us going after their money, just like they come after our money. We have to be forceful in our response, and we have to be direct, and we have to be targeted. Because you don't come attack our race or give somebody a platform against us and then go away with it just because you're a woman. What goes for the goose goes for the gander. We have to respond. We have to be united, because the Jewish people are united in their response. The white people are united in their response. We have to create an order that guides black people. We have to respond, period. I did the same show on my channel last night, and I was very forceful about it. I don't care if she's a woman. You allow that, you pay the price. That's just me.
Ikane has just ordered a missile strike on Just Pearly.
Can I use that soundbite?
All right, y'all do not care if I get a
we do
strike.
salute. We love you, man. Thank you for having me on. Can I use that soundbite though, real quick? Can I use that soundbite?
Go ahead.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead and use
salute
it.
to you, brother.
All right, y'all. I'll check y'all out tomorrow. Let me get these super chats. Appreciate all the super chats. John the Baptist, $5. Israel, you still should listen more on this subject to individual parents who do not have the training. Loctus of Clay, gunpowder puts off a resonance electrical field. Gunpowder puts off a resonance electrical field. Mr. Clement Gray, until America repents for the atrocities that it had put onto the world, the chickens are coming home to roost. 2 Chronicles 7:14, effect, take heed. Paula, $20. We appreciate that. Fight for legislation to add a special rating MOS to each branch. The oath to offend against the enemy, foreign and domestic. Schools are domestic. That is how we create armed, trained men power. The dads can support patrol. Ooh, I like that. You thinking, Paula? You thinking? We men support bullying. Chris Rock said it. The bullies do half the work, especially for your self-esteem or lack thereof. So you know that people ain't shit up front. All right, y'all. We appreciate you on the Trigger Mike show today. I like these mixed up topics. Let me know in the comments and get those likes all the way up. Please do your service to your community and get those likes up for the YouTube algorithm. We appreciate y'all coming through today to rock with us on the Lapeef Network. Chaotic is coming up next. He has a bomb of a topic today, and it's should non-black people. Damn, you know what? Let me check it out real quick for y'all before I get out of here. Are other races allowed to speak about the black community? That is an excellent topic. So if you want to talk about Just Pearly things, I'm sure he'll have a panel or at least bring you up one-on-one. Chaotic show going to be dope today. I might even pull up if I get back in time, because that's going to be a good one. Are other races allowed to speak about the black community? And Just Pearly things is the thumbnail. So that's going to be a good one. All right. So y'all stay tuned for that. Make sure you always support. We appreciate all of your support. We'll catch you tomorrow with another bomb topic. I already got one brewing for y'all. So catch you later. Appreciate everything. Catch you. It's Trigger Mike. I'm out.